We're starting a little late, but hey, maybe F's and chat is almost over, so we can
Yeah.
reach some of their people. There. All right. I'm gonna tweet out if you want to tell the guild, Kim. Usually Mel or Yip does that. Post the link in guild because I can't really switch over once we're live.
Do you have a link yet?
I
Oh,
just
it's just
tweeted
Blazzinbob, right?
and tagged you. Oh shit! I didn't. That was dumb. I just tweeted without a link. Hold on.
It's like sending an email without the attachment.
I know. Oh gosh. Uh, they don't. Oh, you have to pay for that first edit thing, don't you? Like where you can, like you have like 5 minutes to edit a tweet after you send it out.
Mm.
You guys heard about that?
Oh, really? I didn't know. I didn't hear about that.
Yeah, it's like their premium that
Oh
you can
God, they
buy.
make you pay for it? The fuck
Yeah.
out of here, dude.
Uh-huh.
That's why I don't use Twitter. Fuck them.
I know.
I know you have to, but
you kind of
yeah,
do.
yeah.
All
I
right.
hate social media, man.
Well, it shows that I do too because I'm horrible at it.
Oh God, yeah. Even when I was making content, I would only link it when I made a new video. That's all I would do.
Dude, I'm horrible. Like I only link when we go live. And I should link like when the episode comes out, but I'm just horrible. All right. Tweets out, you're tagged in it, but it's just Blazzinbob, the Twitch. All right. All right. Each of you give me a at least 5-word sentence at different times.
The swift brown fox jumped over the lazy dog.
Perfect. And Kim?
What do you want?
Just say a sentence that's like 3 words longer than that.
The Terracone market is currently in a precarious place.
All right, do it one more time for me.
My nightmare vine vendor better watch out, or else he'll get shafted.
Perfect. Okay, I got you. And now testing me. 1, 2, 3. Test. Maybe a little bit lower for me. Test. All right. I'm just trying to make sure we're all the same on what's it called?
Yep. Checking levels. Got it.
Yeah, because for the podcast I can do that all post, but for live I can't. Okay. Where did my intro go? Oh, all right. Well, this has been a little bit of work to get this going, but we're here now, so things are good. Oh, it's perfect that you're on this episode too. 'Cause we have an email. I hope you can help with.
Oh, the one from earlier. Yeah, I got a response for that.
Well, we're gonna do it on the show.
Cool.
Let me if you guys want to dance for chat real quick, I'm just gonna top off the drink and then I'll be ready.
Dance
Sure.
for chat.
Dance. Hmm.
That's all I got. That's the only move I know. It doesn't work for every song. It's only classical genre. You know, got to get that OG Mozart or Liszt that out of the way.
That's right. You do the what's the shopping one where you take the can and put it in your
Oh
cart?
yeah. Or the oh man.
With the Price is Right now.
Or like Indian Bangada, the screwing in the light bulb.
Oh right. Yeah.
All right. Everybody ready? I think
Yeah.
I'm ready. All right. This is just for me. Welcome to Warcraft Reloaded, a podcast brought to you by Mash Those Buttons, covering World of Warcraft Classic, TBC Classic, and its community. I am Bobby, also known as Blazzinbob. Unfortunately, this week, my normal partners in crime are not here. Mel had a bachelorette party that she had to attend. Partially the reason we're late is because I had to drop her off. And then Yip is enjoying TBC so much he stayed up all last night and was unable to get on the pod today. So
Nerd.
in his
Thought he had
place,
an actual excuse.
in his place, we have Melderon returning. How you doing?
Great, thanks for having me.
Always a pleasure. And then we also have Guild Bank extraordinaire Kimjongoom. How you doing?
What up?
What's going on, guys? Well, I think it's
Well,
still
I
going to
love
be a
the
good
name.
show. Yeah. So many people get confused by it, though. They're like, it takes them a second. They're like, oh,
Yeah. Yeah, I just go around naming myself like Adolf Hitler. Right? Yeah.
Yeah, right.
Oh, yeah. Who are the other ones you have? You have
Barack Obama.
Barack
It's
Obama,
pronounced Balak, actually.
Warrior.
Big misconception. Martin Uther, Genghis Khan,
Yep.
Abe Lincoln, which I know Bob likes.
Genghis Khan, that's so good.
Wait, did you say Abe Lincoln? Wait, did you say Abe Lincoln?
Every
No, I said
time, every
A
time.
Blinken.
I think I had Ronald Reagan at some point, but I had to delete him after a while. I really wanted a druid named Joe Hayden, like you're Hayden or you're wearing a hide or something, right?
Yeah.
But it was taken, and I was like, what? That would complete the dynasty because I also have Shamala Harris. But
Kamala Harris. I think we can safely say you have the best names I've heard in a long time.
They are pretty
well,
good.
they're all themed on classic, like historical, political,
Political figures.
Yeah.
Yep.
In retail, all my dudes were sausages, like bratwurst and shit.
Bratwurst.
Can't make me laugh at the start of this. I have to host here. Okay, so we're gonna get into the show today. First off, we're going to hit on this email that's a few weeks old. I apologize, but we had a lot to talk about the last few weeks, and we couldn't fit it in. But we're gonna do that. Then what we've been doing in WoW lately. We'll give a little bit of raid progress because we want to hear what Melderon's been doing in Tier 6, and then we'll give you a little update on what we've been doing, but it'll probably be pretty short. We don't have the master storyteller here in Yip, so I will try to do it justice, but I will fail. Then we are going to go on to news. There's not a ton, but there's some cool stuff there. And then at the end, we're going to do a discussion looking forward to Wrath of the Lich King because that's probably on the horizon, and I'm sure there's a lot of changes that you have forgotten are there. It's a whole new world, just like TBC was from Classic. So
Yep.
strap in and let's get going. All right, so first off, I'm going to read this email, and it's about gold making strategy for a slow auction house. This was sent in by Joseph. It says, "Hey team, I recently came back to WoW to play Classic after a 12-ish year hiatus. Played Vanilla and TBC when they came out. Loved the world and the journey. Happy to report, it's a great to be back. Running around in Tristfall Glades, Mulgore, and the Barrens have been like returning to an old neighborhood and have brought back a surprising number of memories." So, obviously a Horde player. Unless
course.
he's just crazy,
Unless he just likes to go to Horde territories.
Yeah.
As an alliance.
He's just crazy. He's like, "Hey guys, wait, I'm not in the right place."
Yep.
Okay, so he says, "Society has told me I need to adult these days, so I spend my time working and daddying during the week. Your podcast is a way for me to passively spend time with the game on the days I can't play, so keep up the great content. I am usually only able to jump into the game 1 to 2 nights per week after my tiny human goes to sleep. Usually on Fridays and Saturdays, and I'm perfectly fine with the slow crawl that the leveling experience will be. After all, Classic is about the journey. However, I have hit a problem that I thought you might be able to help with. Based on my original experience in vanilla and TBC, I chose professions with the express intent of making gold, as I hate being gold constrained. Mining and herbalism used to be reliable sources of income, as I'm not a crafter but happily sell the mats on the auction house. The problem is that my server pop is low and the AH is basically dead. This leads to my question. Any strategies for making gold in a low pop server that has a low volume auction house? I've found a small guild that works well together, so I don't want to change servers. But I am also keen to find ways to become my server's proverbial Scrooge McDuck if possible. Thoughts? Anyone interested in playing, hit me up on Azurzong's server, tune name Bull True, level 16 warrior. Thanks for the horde.
Or the horde.
So I'm wondering if are they saying they're low level and they want to make gold, or are they saying that they're high level and they're leveling a new guy in the
It's the
meantime?
exact question I had. Like, what level is his main
Yeah.
character?
I
It's
believe that
really
it is
important
main
because so many things
character.
are capped, right? Like most even hitting 300 on any profession is capped at level 35. Like you got to hit 35 in order to get there. Around
I
that level, if you're what did you say it was mining skinning?
So
He's
he's
mining
Herbalism?
mining
herbalism?
herbalism, and I believe he's asking because he's slowly leveling up, and he wants to know what's the best bang for his buck going up. I mean,
What server was it again?
Azure Song.
Azurzong.
Azure Song.
Something that I was thinking is it's, like
That's not bad actually. I think that horde side, huh? 679 people.
Oof.
Yeah.
like my
We have
first
around like 1300 on right now in ours, so it probably is actually worse than ours, just purely on that side. But it seems less imbalanced, which means that there's more opportunities to go out and actually get goods.
true.
Biggest thing is like if you get that level up to the point where you're able to farm things like Swift Thistle or Strangle Kelp, that's probably your best bet within that level range, because people still like, you know, um, the older potions like Swiftness Potion, Free Action, and
Yeah.
of course Rogues want Thistle Tea. That is probably the most expensive old world, besides Black Lotus, of course. It's probably the most expensive old world herb out there right now.
Purple
And
Lotus
you
goes
might
for a lot too for leveling
Purple Lotus, true.
enchanting. But again, with 600 people, I don't think people are moving in professions a lot or leveling new alts.
Right, right.
Yeah, that's the problem. It's the problem we're running into now with our auction house.
I'll say once you get, I mean, it sounds like you're basically at the really, really early steps of like a gold making career, and it's really hard to give you specific advice as far as like how you should take your like what you should be farming and whatnot. But I will say that once you get there, like get to 300, first of all, it's good to have connections on a small server, right?
Yeah.
As Whitemane is starting to die, like I have certain people for certain things that I go to, and I'm like, hey, do you have this, current age price is this? Let's work out a deal. And I buy like 20, 30 stacks at once. And basically, like on a small server, that's probably great for both of you because, first of all, like they know that their sale is secure, right?
Mm-hmm.
Two, they won't have to be subject to like slippage because like if you're trying to post 30 things at once, like you're going to end up selling maybe a third of those at the price you intend to sell at, and then 30, it'll just keep going down, down, down as you keep posting over and over. Because given you're on a small population server, you know, uh, you're not guaranteed to sell 30 stacks at a time, like you would be on Whitemane Horde or Alliance Benediction.
Yeah.
But yeah, first thing is to like if you see someone that is constantly buying your stuff, like for me, I've had people reach out to me because they see me just like spam buy materials, Um, yeah, like just take note of the names that you see on the auction house, and those guys are the active players in the current profession scene, right? Um, Also, people in trade will advertise stuff, and like that kind of thing. The other thing is to make like a full breadth of knowledge of what things you're going for will go into. For instance, I know basically the baseline cost of all the herbs because I'm an alchemist. And if I see an herb going for super cheap, I'm like, in my head, I'm like, okay, I could use that for this, this, or this. And I'll look at those items and see if there's anything that really matches up to give me a big lead on profitability. And you combine that with the profession specialty like elixir or potions master and whatever, and you could actually end up making significantly more than if you had gone the traditional route of maybe selling those herbs, right? Like if you have a potions master in your guild, you might be able to cut a deal with him like, hey, if you craft these for me like with my mats, you can keep all the procs, but I'll just sell this and it'll make me more money than if I had sold the herbs.
Yeah.
You know, um, on larger populations, you'll find that the difference between the crafted good and the material
I was just going to say this.
is getting it's pretty slim because there's so many trying to close the gaps and the inefficiencies in the market. But on a low population server, you don't have as many people. Well, first of all, you don't have as many opportunities to run into people with that kind of financial firepower. Um, and yeah, you also don't have as many people who are trying to explicitly make money based on that like level of arbitrage happening.
Right. I think that and I'm not as well versed in money making as Kim is, but I almost think that you should pick a crafting profession. In my opinion, should be alchemy. I think you should get rid of mining for the sole reason, and then you can actually drop herbalism. And I'll tell you what I mean by that. Like, if you have TSM, Trade Skill Master, or something similar to that, right? You can buy, and if that margin that Kim was talking about is high enough between crafted versus reagent, you can just buy herbs and flip them into potions. I made so much gold in Classic doing that. Like literally buying the mats and just making the potions and selling them.
That's
And yeah,
sorry, go ahead.
yeah, go no, yeah. I'm just saying that's another way. I just don't know how healthy your servers. That's the only thing, right?
That's
But
how
like you
Kim
said,
made his
Kim, it
first.
could be, yeah,
Yeah, that's how
Yeah.
Kim made his first fortune.
Yeah, Melderon,
Yeah.
exactly. That's exactly
Yeah.
what he did. Back in me, I had 3 alchemists, which going into TBC, I turned one of them into elixirs, one of them into potions, and I funneled all my elixir patterns to the elixir master and all my potions patterns into potions person. And then my third guy was supposed to be a transmute, but by the time I leveled him, I found that I actually wanted to play him. So I went JC, NG on my rogue.
right.
So
Yeah,
yeah,
and then
but crafting is really for someone who is in a position where they would like to be productive in game but not have to actually play the game that much. Crafting stuff like that is actually really nice because
Yep.
the majority of where like all the Gbank stuff does come from is me setting up mats, setting up a craft queue in TSM, and then just walking over to my computer and pressing craft next every once in a while, like every like 10 minutes or whatever, right? And by the time you're done with that, since mail is instant, which is like actually the foundation of like my whole strategy, you could just basically port it over to your alt and sling it. But you also want to be really careful that you're not making stuff that no one's gonna right.
Yeah, exactly. Like,
which is
so
why
this is
TSM is
TBC.
so important to have.
I cannot stress enough how good that add-on is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a little overwhelming to start, but dude, it's so
Yeah.
worth it just to do it.
Yeah. TSM is my number 2 app. My number 1 app is the Windows calculator.
Exactly. Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, and so I know there's always Warrior's a little rough there's not really a lot of like even really in-game farms that you're gonna do all that well, you know, like. But
Not to mention all your skills cost a bunch at that level, and your
yeah,
repairs.
yeah, all the like. I mean, if you had like a paladin later when you got to max level, there's tons of different like just raw gold farms and older instances and stuff like that. But if you're looking at
Yeah.
professions, which it sounds like he is, like those were some really good tips that Kim and Melderon had for you, and they were pretty similar to the ones I would have given. I would have said if you just wanted gathering though, maybe just herbalism and skinning, and use the skinning as just raw gold.
Just raw gold. Yeah, that's another thing. If your server's dead, that's at least guaranteed income, right? Like that's something. But like yeah, like if you're herb alch, you can herb, and you can make 100% profit on your if you have the mats. But say you get to the point where you're like, you finally get to 70, and like Bob said, you don't want to sit around farming because it's a pain in the ass. You could still go out and do some herbing and make 100% profit on those herbs, but then you can have the option of buying herbs and flipping them and still making money as an alchemist. I think that's probably, and the only other combination I can think of would be probably mining jewel crafting, right? Would be comparable to the amount you can make as an alchemist. I don't know.
Yeah. On a dying server though, I think JC
Mm,
has a lot more fluctuation because of the fact that maybe in the beginning everyone will be buying your gems, but come farm time, like a couple months from now, um, the population is full of diehards that have a bunch of alts, you're really not going to see as much of a sale unless you do like the whole like jewel like transformation thing. You make a piece of you make a neck piece or something like that, and you end up disenchanting it for more or something. Like that could be
yeah.
a good.
Yeah,
I will say
yeah, I
if
mean,
if you haven't, go
I
ahead.
was, I was just gonna say, I mean, tailoring and disenchanting go together really well as
Yeah,
just
yeah, they do.
Yeah.
as
Especially as an end raider,
yeah.
like yeah,
And
that's
then
that's always
there's
nice.
things where like I made a ton of money throughout TBC so far, but it's a very front loaded money maker. Like I have I have a blacksmith, and I would make resist gear right as the new tiers would open. But that's
Mm,
not something he's going to be able to use. But that's something that's time gated. Like the main
Yeah,
raiders are going to
yeah.
get it, and then at that point, like I almost got stuck with a bunch of extra stuff because I tried to make too much that the market couldn't take, couldn't take on. And so the last couple things I had to undercut, but I still ended up making money on it. But at the beginning, I made just tons of profit. But that's a
yeah.
complete
You can
time
totally,
thing.
if you can
Mm,
carve out your own niche, right? Like I think that's
yeah.
really the biggest thing in a small server, right? Um, you kind of want to see what is out there too. If you're not super dedicated to the professions you currently have, and um, you like gather. Let's say you're a freak like Yip, and you just like gathering, like flying around, like come, come, I'm gonna herb
Yeah.
this, you know. Then what I would do is I would go on the auction house and look up the main gathering professions, like base items, right? Like you probably want to look up fell iron or adamantite. Um, I don't know, some herbs, fellweed, let's say nightmare vine, terracone, and then not hide leather. And you want to look at the baseline of those, and then also see how many different people are posting and how much they're posting with, because that's going to be your competition. And if on a smaller server, if you can find out what doesn't have competition, you'll be able to carve your own way out, and just kind
Mm,
of be that guy for the server, right?
yep.
But that's also kind of like high end, like meta, like, oh, I'm gonna change my profession
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
dynamically. That's like that's you
It's
got to be kind of
expensive.
dedicated to do that.
Yeah.
It will take a lot of time, and you probably won't even see like anything really solidify, and it could end up that by the time you actually reach that point, someone else has gotten there too, right?
Hmm.
So
Yep.
it is a risky strat. But if you let's say create an alt for the sole purpose of professions, that's what I would do.
Yep. Which is what I did the start of TBC also, and I'm still using them to make mooncloth every
Nice, yeah.
week, and then I turn that mooncloth into a bag every eight days, and then that bag sells for basically I make like 300 gold profit every 8 days just logging in for a few minutes every 4 days.
And another thing, I know this is probably, way ahead for you because you're level 16 according to the email, but man, if you like doing quests, I do dailies every day.
Mm.
I do all the Netherwing
True.
dailies. I do all the Ogre Law dailies. I do all the Skedis dailies, cooking, fishing. I make like 300 gold per day just by doing that. And I know it's that's a big time investment, right? Because you only have 2 days to play. But for anyone else listening, like I just got my Drake already, like less than 2 weeks. The rep is super fast. The rep grind super fast on Netherwing, and they're lucrative. I think.
Yeah.
For someone like me who's a DPSer who is profession locked. Yeah.
We have a guy in the guild, Spellcheck, aka Raffle Dots. He's got like 8 characters, and he does all the dailies, and he just does
Yep.
the easy ones. I think like he doesn't even do
Mhm.
all of them. He just does the easy ones on all of his characters, and makes like 800 gold a day.
Yeah,
So that's 12 gold per quest, let's say, right? You get 25
Netherwing, yeah,
per day.
25 per day. There really
Yeah.
isn't enough in Outland to do all 25 unless you do like both the dungeons and like I get pretty close every day. I do the towers every day, the daily PvP, all the available dailies in Outland.
Oh, I
And
forgot.
I think I have like 3 left over, 4 left over. So you can, you could max 25. You
I
could,
forgot there was a
yeah,
max.
Yeah,
yeah,
if it's 12 gold per, you'll make 300 per lockout, right?
exactly.
And if you're
Right.
someone like Raffle Dots who has 8 characters, that's 2,400 gold a day,
Yep.
right?
Yep. And I mean,
Purely
that's a
from
lot
the
of
world.
time, but
Yeah,
yeah.
purely from the world, it's guaranteed,
Yep.
right?
Yep.
So if you
No.
do have the time and you're a grinder, um, I don't think I've ever really particularly enjoyed dailies and stuff like that. So I had
Mm.
to. That's actually probably the main reason why I auction out so much is because like I
Oh,
know how I
yeah.
operate, and I'm like, I'm not gonna do. So I have to find a way. But
If you're
the
one of those
default
people
way,
that can do that, like Kim, like if you're one of those people that can play the auction house well, and there's no reason to do anything else. You know what I mean?
yeah,
That's just
yeah,
you can make so much gold.
Yeah, Kim. I'll get into it when I'm talking about what I've been doing this week. But Kim can't even be bothered to come do small farms when they're super lucrative. But let's get into what we've been doing this week in WoW, and um, just besides raiding. Who wants to go first? What have you been doing this week in WoW?
I think Kim's been in the auction house. No, I'm just joking.
I'm actually
No,
I'm on my character Dalaran right now.
Kim. Oh,
See?
Kim does a lot of PvP though too.
Nice.
I do.
Yeah, me too.
But yeah, either you go first. I'll be right back.
I'll just shoot. I got my let's see. Recently got my main hand and offhand from Marina. Really happy about that because it's
Nice,
BIS for
yeah.
enhancement shaman. Um, actually, this phase it's actually our BIS weapon. So, which is it seems like it is always every season, which is funny because I picked blacksmith as a enhancement shaman, thinking I would use my blacksmithing weapon, and I never have. So I actually switched to enchanting this week. That was another major thing is that I'm leatherworking for drums, so I'm locked on that. And I thought I was going to be locked for blacksmithing because of the weapons, and I just realized now that like I literally have there's no point being blacksmith anymore. Phase 4, Sunwell, the weapons are drops; they're not blacksmithing weapon or PvP. So, um, I rerolled enchanting, spent some gold doing that. But at least now I can enchant my rings, and that +4 stats for PvP is big on the rings.
Mhm.
And the +2 weapon damage is nice for DPS. So I did that this week. Got my Netherwing Drake.
Nice.
That was fun.
Is that the egg thing?
So eggs are part of the quests, right? But there's like
Okay.
there's 8 or 9 quests per day, and eggs are gravy on top. So you can actually
Yeah,
farm
you
as
can.
many eggs per day as you want.
Yeah, you
Yeah,
can do eggs
it's
and
repeatable.
yeah.
Yep.
Stay Safe did it in like 24 hours or something like that.
Yeah, I didn't do that. That's crazy. But I did it in less than 2 weeks. I mean, it's pretty easy. I much rather would have had a Gladiator one. I would have definitely not done the Netherland quest if we got Glad season 1, but we missed it. So not by much either. It was really heartbreaking. But so maybe we're gonna try again this season. I think this season with the armor penetration might actually we're pure physical comp. We talked about this before, right? So
In 5s, right?
yeah, we do 1 healer, 4 DPS, and the 4 DPS are all physical. And
Oh,
it's
disgusting.
we kill people. Like if our motto is if we don't kill someone in 20 seconds, we lose. Basically, it's like we
See, I
murder
love those.
whoever, and
I love
yeah,
those types of comps, dude. I
I
love
bet
the
your games
like
are fast too.
fast
You
they're
get
really
games.
in
fast.
Yeah, I
There's
love it.
games where we come out and we're still bloodlusted. Yeah, it's crazy.
Oof.
It's like
Like fast games just feel good because win or lose, you feel good. Like you know, like you're in and out, bada bing, bada boom. I don't know. Like I tried to play. I wanted to be serious about druid, warrior or priest warrior, and
Mhm.
I just didn't like it. I tried with different healers, and I just didn't like it. But Shadow Priest Warrior, which wasn't the best, I fucking loved. You know, so like,
Yeah,
Yeah, that was a blast.
yeah.
Just the pressure, it's like, oh, if you can basically pressure them into dying, that would be nice.
yeah, right.
Yep.
Yeah,
And then you're just like, oh, we just nailed him so fast, you know.
Yeah,
But
dude.
it's
Oh yeah.
definitely, you know, although I don't, yeah, pure DPS comps might be really sick once we start seeing, well, with rogues with
yeah.
glaives, we might see some really
Yeah,
mean
so we're
stuff
hoping
happening.
Mavic gets Glaive soon because he's up for it. Like it's his. We Luke Council legendaries, and since he's been here so long, I mean he gets them. So if he gets Glaives, I
That'd
already
be
got my
huge.
weapons. If Ale gets what's that one with all the armor penetration, that 2-hander? Um, it's a sword, I think. Maybe I'm wrong.
I don't,
There's a sword that drops in either Black Temporal Hydral that has it's a 2-hander that has a shit ton of armor penetration on it.
okay. I don't know if I've
Like
seen it.
350 or something like that. It's crazy.
Damn. Well, and then he'd switch to sword to sword spec too.
Yeah. So then he'd have Wind Fury on top of Sword Spec, which would be,
Yep. So you
you
get them
know,
double procs could be like the difference
God,
between life and death.
a chain reaction. Yeah. And then so if he gets Glaives and our hunter is still using the Karazhan bow, he's been so unlucky. So if he gets a bow, man, he's going to be clocking people
Jesus.
Dude, well,
because
don't tell
he does
him.
most of our damage. Yeah.
Don't tell him that we've already got 2 bows
Oh, he'd be so mad.
from
Yeah.
from tier 6.
Yeah.
Although,
So
to be fair,
it's
one of our hunters didn't even get the caribou. He got the caribou drops for him finally the week after he got the next bow in tier 5.
oh
Yeah.
wow.
Oh yeah. Poor Butters.
Yeah, that
Yep.
sucks, man.
Shout out to Butters.
Yeah, and then we have Def Camp. So Disc Priest is, in my opinion, I would say the most offensive healer in the game.
I would agree with that.
Yeah, so we really, even when our healer pumps, like he Holy Novas or he, smites or Shadow or Death people when they're low, like he's very good with that. So I'd say we're like 4.5 DPS to be honest. So it's pretty fun. It's a fun comp, and it's completely bullshit comp too. Like it's not theory crafted, or it's not like no one, it's not the top comps you'll see. So it's like it's great that when we win and we get high because we're like, haha, we're not a meta comp,
Just made it through
So,
with Brit.
yeah, exactly, yeah.
That's
So
pretty cool.
yeah, it's fun, man.
Yep. Well,
Random question: has Death Camp been running Hydral?
Yeah, so yeah, we run
Is
Hydral
he
and
is
Black
he
Temp
is
every
he
week.
going Shadow Nova?
Shadow Nova, like no, he's. Are you talking about like Shadow? Oh, in arena you're talking about.
No, in Hydral.
No, I don't think so.
Randomly, yeah.
Yeah, he's playing Holy, but what's Shadow Nova?
Oh wait, no,
maybe
he's
he
not
is, and I don't
Shadow,
know.
of course.
Yeah, he's Holy. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Okay,
Yeah, that's why I was
yeah.
confused. Yeah, I was like, we do
Shadow
have a Shadow
Nova.
Priest, but
Shadow
yeah.
Nova is like a weirdo spec where basically you the points you would normally put into disc as a Shadow Priest, you put
Hmm.
into the Holy Tree until you reach Holy Nova,
Oh,
and you pump on the trash, and then basically I swap spec between our Hydral run and our BT run. It's
oh
pretty
wow.
cool.
Why
Yeah,
only in
like
Hydral? Because of the
the trash waves.
mobs? Oh, because they're all undead, right? Is that why? Because
Well,
they're so large. They're so large.
yeah,
Okay.
you end
Yeah,
up
yeah, yeah.
like hitting like X amount of people.
Yeah, I know nothing about priests. Sorry. I'm just like it's like one
Yeah,
of
no,
those things
it's
where yeah.
this is like something like super fringe from like the Shadow Priest only Discord as well.
Oh,
So
nice.
it's like one of those weirdo things. You
Yeah.
know, it was like when I Smite spec back in Kara or
Like
like
shaman tanking, stuff like that.
yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah.
It's super fun. I don't know if the trade-off is worth it, but I don't know. Like some fights, I could put out like over 3K
Wow.
on trash. Yeah,
For priests, that's you're getting up into warlock territory there. That's
yeah.
yeah.
It's
Or
super
mage.
mana dependent though, so I'm basically swapping out my alchemist stone and chugging mana potions and then swapping back my trinket whenever I can
Right.
between the waves. So
Nice.
Something about I'll bring it up to my shadow priest. Let him know.
yeah,
My
it's
shadow
it's
priest.
it's really cool if he's getting, I wouldn't say bored, but if he wants to be more impactful during like trash like that, because like
Mhm.
I found myself being like, dude, all I'm here for is just to like put
Mana,
a couple
yeah.
dots and I'm out of mana anyway, right?
Yeah.
So, you know, like I'm just here to apply misery for everyone. But I'm the one that has misery applied to him, you know.
Yeah, right.
So
Yeah. That's cool. I like stuff like that.
it's pretty novel. I was really super intrigued when I first saw it, and I was like, this could actually work,
Yeah.
but it requires like three really crucial pieces of gear, I think.
Hmm.
So
Yeah. For me, I've been so Melderon. Last week, I finally got my level 60 rogue in hardcore and
Oh, congrats, dude.
completed that challenge. The experience change, unfortunately, I called it. It was supposed to come in on Thursday, so I had time, but I called it. I said on Monday, as soon as the servers come up on Tuesday, it's going to be in. And of course, it was. The blue post did me wrong, but I went from 58 to 60 on
Oh, all right. Well, I mean,
on that, but I could have just grinded and it still would have like been the same thing, but I was like, you know
right.
what? I'll just do all the hard quests in Eastern Plaguelands and Western Plaguelands. So I did the
Yeah.
ones that are like in the elite area of Western Plaguelands, like where I had to go as a ninja, sapping, blinding a guy, grabbing the quest item, vanishing out of there. Like, you know,
Yeah.
I did some scary freaking quests to
dude, that's how
end it
Rogue is
out.
supposed to be played though, right?
Yeah, dude. On the fucking fringe all the time. Like Warrior, I
Well,
feel is the same way.
I was just
20%
so
health
scared
constantly.
because
Yeah.
I was like right at the end, and like there were some parts in Eastern Plaguelands that had these invisible mobs that just it was it was terrifying. And but I
Yeah.
did it, and so I got that done. So I've been like super into TBC since, and
Mhm.
so been doing a lot of stuff. And this week we had a unique opportunity. So the last 2 weeks we've cleared to Mother, and we've left Mother up in Black Temple. So last week we told you that we were unable to reset the dungeon and do the trash multiple times. Well, turns out we were just idiots. Not really idiots. To be fair, it's
Nah, we were idiots.
extremely finicky to be able to reset with a raid. Basically,
Yeah.
everyone in your raid, they cannot leave. They have to log out inside the dungeon. Period. Then someone who is not saved to the raid ID has to do the actual reset. So
Oh.
everyone has to be logged out inside the it doesn't matter if you're dead,
Right.
outside, that does not work. Inside and logged out. And if you add somebody and they
Yeah.
weren't even in there for a kill, it won't let you do it till they log in or till they zone in and log out. So it's a big pain. But
Oh, okay.
we were able to I was able to do solo Black Temple uh uh farm. So there's 4 mobs that you can pull from the first room of the mother trash, and then I could just kite them all over the dungeon and kill them slowly with dots. It's
Wow.
what the ardent hosts are really easy because my pet can attack them, and they'll keep putting my pet to sleep. So it slows them down. It gives me just ample time to just run all over the place, kite, cast shadow bolts and everything. Like it's super easy. But then these other guys, the stewards, they're a pain in the butt, and you have to really be on the ball. But it is doable solo by hunters, warlocks, basically anybody who can get mana back and just get away.
Mhm.
And
Makes me
so
Not Shadow Priest, unfortunately.
yeah, so I spent like, an entire day in there on Wednesday and then the entire day before raid on Thursday. But then we also found out, we thought everybody could do a solo farm on their own people or do a two-person farm or three-person farm. Turns out, no. Like, there's just one instance ID, and whoever's in there first owns it. And if
Right.
they don't invite you, you just keep getting you ported out. So when we found that out, then we decided, to share the wealth. Then it turns out I really actually enjoyed two warlocks the best, or a warlock hunter, or a warlock priest, because then those stewards that are hard, if they hit you once, you could for sure survive one hit, and then they drop aggro and they go towards the other person. So you could just keep ping ponging them and like never die, and then the hosts are just super super easy, and so you have to share the loot, but it was really good. And then we got to the point to where we were bringing in like 10 people, and we're able to do the entire AoE packs, which is 10. The only ones
those the used to be the scantily clad women and men.
Yeah.
Those packs.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah,
No,
and
The harem
and
scene, yeah.
those drop a ton of stuff. With that size group, we would definitely struggle with the what's it called? The succubi, the two succubus girls that would walk around.
At the end of it, yeah.
They were definitely a struggle, but
Oh, the patrol. Yeah, I know what you're talking about. Yep.
everything else we could take. So with a 10-man group, we could just do the entire front room, reset, and then found out with like 13 to 15 people, we could do the succubuses too. So basically, depending on how many people were on, like during the day, it was just me solo, and then it would turn into me like duo and trio, and then it would turn into like 10-man, and then some people would come in and just like hang out in case something dropped. But throughout the entirety of our trash farm that we did throughout this time, we got 4 haste healing rings and 4 haste caster rings.
All power rings.
Yeah.
The ones warlocks
It was
want?
nuts.
Yep. Yeah.
Holy
Yesterday,
Yeah, holy shit is right.
we got 4, and first it was me and Harry Daughters. We were just the only 2 in there. And and there was a paladin, just fabulous. He was just kind of hanging out to see if something dropped for him. And so I got the first ring. So I was like, well, I think I'm not gonna roll on this ring if it drops again for you. And so then we end up with 5 people, and then the ring drops again, and I don't roll, and he gets it. And then the other locks come in. And then, since we had started that trend, we're just like, we're just going to wait till everybody gets one before we roll out another one. And then all of our locks, all 4 of them, got one ring before raid yesterday doing this. It was awesome.
Huge.
Yeah,
That's
I did
huge.
not expect it to go nearly as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, tons of gems
doing a
too,
trash
tons of
run.
hearts.
All right, extra, we'll get some extra netherweave cloth, cool. But
Yeah,
no, it was
That's a nice haul.
super. Yeah.
Yeah, and I
So-
got like 3 gems. So now I only need like 2 more or maybe 3 more epic gems in my current my current BIS gear. It's pretty sick.
That's it? Damn.
Yeah.
Wow. I something you brought up. It's totally off topic, but the whole leveling quest XP increase in SOM really hurts hardcore, man. Like Def and I decided to start a new duo, and like you can't even afford your training.
Oh, that's actually in the news. Like, check out
Oh,
the news. There's
oh, they finally said something about that.
it's in
Maybe
the
someone was watching our stream.
it's in the first Hotfixes thing. But yeah, we'll definitely
Oh,
be.
okay.
I mean, we could just, since you brought it up, we can just say it now. They increase quest reward gold by 100% while you have the buff. So anytime before 60, if you have the EXP buff, you've got the
Yeah.
100 gold. So you get double gold for quest rewards. So
Double silver or
yeah,
whatever.
and
Well,
that's
double
something.
money. Yeah.
Yeah, that's something a ton of people asked for, like right off the bat. Was like, hey, we're not gonna be able to afford anything.
They did all these things to expedite the game, and then forgot like 7,000 things that like get affected by that. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? And I'm just like, how do you not
Well,
realize that if you make it faster in any way, it's going to affect all these things? You know?
well,
Like,
and it's weird too because the guy, oh my gosh, his name's escaping me, but he did the interview with Josh from Countdown,
yeah,
the lead of the WoW team, and he even said the reason they were making the mount cheaper is because you're going to get to level 60 or level 40 quicker.
yeah,
And then they
quicker.
didn't think about this when they added in the quest reward EXP change.
Yeah, me and Def were like, well, I can't train. I'm level 12 already, and I was we were level 14 in Moldgore. Like, we didn't finish the zone. And I'm like, I can't even train anything. You know what I mean? Because it's hardcore. You can't give gold to your character. Not that I have a character anyway to give it to. But man, it was a pain in the butt. But yeah,
Yeah.
that's great. At least that's something. I hope it's enough. I think they should have actually edited the cost of training on. I think that's that would have been a better fix in my opinion. But
Yeah.
yeah,
Basically, cost of living decrease.
yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Yeah.
well, yeah, it is. I've been still doing my duo with Mel, and the 100% quest increase like is really kind of fun. Like it really just hits the dopamine levels hardcore, and then you're like,
Yeah.
this quest sucks. We're just gonna skip it.
Yeah, we don't have to do it anymore
Yeah.
because yeah. Yeah,
Uh,
you're right. I just wonder if it makes hardcore too easy. That's all.
it
You
kind of
know?
does, but
Yeah.
in all fairness, hardcore has classic era. Now, you know,
Yeah. Yeah.
like
True. True.
they
True.
they've
You've been
got
playing that.
classic era,
Yeah.
and that's the exact way the experience was. You know, that's the, even my, initial season of Mastery Hardcore wouldn't have been as hardcore as the people who originally did it in SOM.
Right.
But
Right. But hey, you only level 2 levels that way. I think that's they were the last 2 levels, but like okay.
yep,
But
and I
yeah, I
did
told
some
you.
dangerous stuff,
Yeah,
to
I
do it.
told you it would take 5 to 6 kills, deaths before you like your brain got rewired. You know?
Yep.
Yep.
So yeah, that's basically all I was doing for the most part. I did do some PvP. The guild's been doing a lot of like all the dailies and the towers and stuff. And boy,
Yeah, I
I
was a curmudgeon
forgot,
about those changes, but I like them now, to be honest. I
dude.
was a big curmudgeon about those. I was like, I can't believe you're giving away honor and blah blah blah.
Oh really? Oh, I thought it was
Yeah.
great because I thought the
No,
honor was horrible.
I like it now, but I was an old man for like 2 weeks. I think I was like, how dare you give away this? Like you're basically
Ugh.
just giving it away.
I've been
It's like, but
I was bitching about it forever. I was so mad about like how long it took to actually get your stuff, and then I wasn't as mad initially because I was like, it's the first grind to get the first set of gear, but then when the next off pieces came out and stuff, I was like, okay, dude, come
yeah,
on, man, come on. And what was funny is Ale came on the show and was like, well, I'm kind of in a different situation because since I get so many arena points every week, I
yeah.
get my full gear, and then all the extra arena points roll over to honor, and I just buy all my pieces right as the new season starts. So I was like, that is definitely a different situation than the rest of us.
Yeah, we were really lucky. I buy all mine as soon as the season comes out. However, it's a lot better. So I honor cap before the season's even over. Those guys actually don't because like Ale and Navic and Def and Subspace, like they all are like, whatever, I'll buy what I need. And like me, I'm like very OCD, so I like make sure that I have 75,000 honor, 100 marks, way well before the season's over, right? And I will say, from my own personal sanity, the less BGs I queue in, the better, because nothing gets me more heated than playing BGs with randos, dude. That is like the most like blood boiling thing that can happen. Like, because you zone into these places and these guys have no gear and they're standing around, like, you know, and that just drives me insane, bro. So it's nice because now, you know, you do one BG a day, do the towers, and you get like a shit ton of marks and honor, you know? So we're talking 1,800 or so, a little more than 1,800 honor a day just by doing one BG and the towers. And I say one BG because now we queue as a group with four other people, and having five, as you know, having five people you know that are good going into a BG has a huge effect on the BG's turnout, right?
Yep,
So
definitely.
Massive,
yeah.
Well, and you talk about like undergeared people and stuff. Well, that was part of the fun. Like, so I get on my warrior, and my warrior actually, I had a lot more season 2 pieces than I thought I did. Like, I only need like 2 more pieces to be season 2 bis or whatever. And I was like, huh.
Nice.
Like, because I just hadn't played since I started playing hardcore. And so I'd forgotten all my buttons. I'm trying to figure out my buttons, but I'm just charging into everybody. And I'm just blowing up these guys that aren't geared. And it was so much fun in the open world. Like they were like fresh levels, and I'm just like stun heralding the shit out of them. And it was so
feels so
funny.
good.
Oh my god.
Nothing makes me feel better than running to a BG and like I target the weakest, like Gazelle, right? I always do that, right? So usually it's a mage or a priest or something. I always pick Clothies because I'm a shaman. I'm sure you do the same thing, Bob. And I see this priest and he's backpedaling already, right? So I'm like, okay, this guy's dead. So I purge his inner fire, purge his like stamina, purge everything off, and then just wind fury them into the ground. That is the biggest dopamine hit I think there is in like WoW.
Well,
It's just like
for me, I don't target priests. If I was a rogue, I would. I don't target priests just for the simple fact that they screw me on rage with the shields. But I target
right. The
definitely target
I have
Clothies.
purge. Yeah, I purge. So it's like they're a priest in bad gear against an enhancement shaman is pretty scary, right? Because you just purge all their buffs and then you just boot. Yeah.
Oh man,
I hate chamois.
but
Yeah,
yeah,
they're rough.
PPO.
Yeah.
so I'm big having a good time back in TBC. I'm ready to do my rogue. I wanted to do my rogue really bad, but like I just couldn't. I couldn't bring myself to not take advantage of the farm that we had available to us, and I think we're going to continue doing this farm. So we'll have Wednesday and Thursday to, until raid
awesome,
starts
dude.
Thursday night to like farm, get everybody rings, get everybody gems, hearts. And if you go, like once we would get to a certain threshold, like once we were doing the huge packs, like with like 12 or more people, it would kind of turn to guild rules. Like where you're only rolling on a gem if you can use it in your bis gear. You're only rolling on the heart if you're gonna make
make bis gear, yeah,
or make shadow res gear, stuff like that. But then, when it's 2 and 3 people, like you're just making profit. Like that stuff's dropping.
To this farm is you have to keep mother alive, right? That's
the
key.
Yep.
Okay.
And so so that's what we did. Which, anything else you guys want to cover besides raid stuff?
Not really.
Okay, cool. All right, so, and then I did play a lot of my duo hardcore with Mel at nighttime throughout the week.
Yeah.
And we're flying. We're at like level 30, or no, we're at level 40, 48 now, I think.
What's your comp?
Druid priest.
Okay, that's good comp.
Oh yeah, and I'm feral, of course. So we're just like we're basically set up for any encounter, and we're at the stage right now in the 40s where we're like almost invincible. It gets tough again, and like the 54 to 60 starts getting tough again. But like right now, we're just into like we are He-Men. He-Man and He-Woman.
You can root a target. You can go in the bear. She can fear. Like dispels. Like that's just really good,
Well,
man.
and then
Heals, obviously, both of you can heal.
a little Valentine's Day hardcore tip is if you do those little candies things, the little gifts of admiration, you can get training dummies or target dummies
Are
that
you doing
Oh,
TBC?
wow.
anybody can use. No, we're
Oh, that's
doing
cool.
season of
Oh, okay.
mastery, and Mel got them, and she's got like 9 target dummies, and she's not an engineer.
Wow.
That's
Yeah,
pretty cool.
which
Good to
is
know.
huge. So like we take all kinds of chances because we could both drop one, because I'm engineering, and so we're just like,
Yeah.
well, let's just do it, and if we have to run, we just drop 2, we just take off.
Yeah.
It's pretty awesome. It's pretty awesome. But yeah, so let's move into raid. Do you before we do ours, do you want to tell us how your raid has gone in tier 6? Maybe give us a little timeline like kind of like Yip does.
Yeah. So, um, I
Oh,
think
and you changed your
TLDR.
guild name too, so you should definitely tell us about that.
Right. So we switched to Fairlena because Scarum died, unfortunately. And Scarum was, if anyone doesn't know, Scarum was 100% Horde since phase 2 of Classic. So it's been 100% Horde for a very long time. So we were used to it. And, I already saw when we switched to Fairlena that I already saw the signs, right? It's going to be a Scarum, new Scarum. All the alliance left within like a month of us going there. So when we switched, we took the opportunity to make a new name. And we chose Victory or Death. I'm a very big fan of horde-centric guild names. Like, and our previous name was Eden. I wasn't a huge fan of it. It did grow on me after a while, but I did like it. But the funny thing is, all of the younger people in our guild call us the Boomer Guild because we don't have a one-word name. So they all make fun of me. It's like, oh, we're in a dad guild because it's victory or death. That's 3 words. And I'm like, bro, who gives a shit? It's Horde, man. It's like Horde centric.
Dude,
And
we
they all
had a
give me
guild
shit for
called
it.
Old
Yeah.
Turtles Never Die.
Yeah.
Although, was it 1 word, Kim, or was it 4 words?
I think it was 4 words.
I think it was 2. It was like super long always. You'd be like, oh,
Yeah, so they gave
there's
us
a turtle.
they gave me a lot of shit for that. But whatever. Hey, it's something I wanted to do. And, in Wrath, we could reevaluate. Who knows? But anyway, so we changed to that. And we were having a really hard time in tier 5 because of roster issues. We couldn't fill. We would lose a person because of burnout or whatever, and now we can't recruit because the server's dying. So as soon as we switched to Fairlena, like we had clear T5 before we switched to Fairlena, but as soon as we switched, it was like a breath of fresh air. We got new people in, we got all this stuff done. So tier 6 opens up, and within the second week we already downed Illidan, right? So it's like I think it's a really easy tier. It's sad, but
It is definitely easy.
But what's interesting is, I don't know if you guys have noticed this on your server because you're the smaller faction, but I feel like interest in TBC, even though this tier is so easy, has really increased. I don't know if you guys have seen that.
Well, we've
Yeah.
noticed it. It's just it's scary because
Yeah.
trying to level and there's 17 horde in the area leveling and you're like, oh god.
Yeah. That could be rough, right? Like I haven't experienced that in all of Classic. Now thinking about that for a second, right? Because phase 1, no one really gave a shit because there was no honor, right? As soon as phase 2 rolled around, the Horde removed the alliance from the population. I've been playing that way since phase 2 of Classic. I've never seen alliance since phase 2 of Classic, basically, right? So I'm playing on a PvE round, and it sucks. But outside of that, it makes questing a lot easier. It makes doing dailies a lot easier and stuff like that. So we crafted 3 pieces of shadow resistance for everyone in the raid. That was enough for Mother, and
Oh dude,
we
we
stopped doing
only
that.
we just they crafted us the cape, everybody, and we just use greens.
Oh, nice. Yeah, we crafted you get the neck for killing Illidan, right? So
Yeah,
get
we used the
for,
neck and the cape.
yeah, and then we gave everyone a cloth bracer to wear if they wanted to.
Ah, gotcha.
And the cape. So those 3 pieces were enough to kill Mother. So, we got to council. The funny thing is, it was really weird when we first got to council, where we were like, man, this fight's gonna be so hard, and we one shot council our first week, which
Jeez.
was like,
Oh
yeah,
God.
it was
You
crazy.
must
Like, I
have
did
really
not think
good
that was gonna.
kicks.
So
Yeah.
Navik, it just sits on her. The rogue, he does not DPS that entire fight. He kicks everything she does. He hates it. He complains
But he
every
can't.
week.
Yeah, but one of the kick has to be a magical kick, right?
So when she whatever puts that thing on herself or whatever it is, we have a shaman kick it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we seem
So
to have all kinds of problems with this part of the fight.
yeah, yeah. So, but I can't believe that because we were not prepared for that fight at all. Like we never did it. Like, and our tanks just did a really good job of kiting. And like, it may have been a 2-shot. Maybe I'm lying, but it was very quick. And then we got to Illidan and wiped like 9 times, and then we got him down. Second week. And unfortunately, what's been happening is our Illidans are getting lazier now. So last week we had 14 wipes. This week we had like 11 or something. And it's like, how are we getting worse? We're getting more gear. We're getting, and I think it's complacency or whatever. But we got everything down within 2 nights, and then we go do like gruel splits and
What parts of Illidan have you had?
it's phase 2. The tanks are having a really hard time with placement. It's
Okay,
mostly the
dude,
tanks.
we
That was an
had
issue for us as well.
yeah,
Yeah.
we did it week 2, but it was week 2 of us doing it. So it was actually
Oh, I
week
see.
3. Like
Mhm.
really week 2.5 is really what it was,
Mhm.
because the first week was a half week. We didn't get to Illidan the first week. We didn't do an extra raid night. We did do a
Oh, I
trash
see.
farm night and actually drop bosses on the trash farm night, but we didn't have enough people in the full raid. But then we got all the way to Illidan the next week. So basically our first full week, and the tanks just had so much problems with that. It turned out it was like basically fire resist. Like they were using enough that as long as they had the Shami totem, they were fine. But
Yeah.
if they get out of range of the Shami totem, they were all of
Yeah.
a sudden jacked. And so they ended up switching it up to where the Shami totem was just gravy. And if they got out of
Right.
it, they were still fine. And so the second week we were able to do it. We did wipe a ton. I don't remember how many times we wiped. Kim might, but we wiped a
Yeah.
ton.
And
But
blends together at some point.
but it wasn't because the ton of wipes weren't because of phase 2. The tanks like basically had it down in week 2 for the most part. The wipes were at the end when you have to get them trapped, and we just couldn't find the trap ever and couldn't get them. We also
That trap
had a
is such
brand new
bullshit,
pally.
dude.
Well,
Yeah,
we
they
lost
did.
our
Trap.
pally tank, and we had a brand new pally who we had just gotten attuned, and so the gear was a little bit of an issue too.
I mean, he did great.
Oh yeah, he
for
did a great
What he
job.
Yeah.
had. It was kind of crazy.
We were robbed of 2 kills because the trap didn't spring.
Dude, you have to
he
like
was-
hold him
yeah,
on there for a
I know.
while.
I know. But I mean, it wasn't like we still killed him that night anyway. But it just sucks when you have to reapply buffs because we've lost to something like that.
Oh yeah. Well,
Um,
one time he was on me, and I was like, I am not gonna mess this up. I ran over there. I had him lined right up. He walks right over the trap and right over to me and pops me, and then he's no longer
Yeah.
on the trap. And I was like, what?
Yeah,
I lined it up
that's
perfect.
so infuriating. He has to literally sit on it for a couple seconds. It feels like.
Yeah, I think
Um,
that's the thing.
Yeah, but like we were so not prepared for Illidan because we thought we'd be wiping on council all night that our one druid tank didn't have any fire res on her, so she had to like leave,
Oh,
get
no.
her fire res gear, craft some of it. We had to like emergency get this thing together and put it together, and then we
Oh.
went. She's like, I did not think we were gonna get the Illidan.
I'm pretty sure I know her.
Yeah. Bister.
I don't know her name, but I'm pretty sure she was one of our tanks for Karazhan when I went with Ale and Mad Season and Willie and Jamin and
Oh, in
Josh.
the beta?
Yeah.
Oh, you played
'Cause-
Horde in the beta? I didn't know that. Yeah.
Well, yeah. Well, because
Oh.
it was like Ale brought her, and he said it was one of your main tanks.
Yeah, Bifster probably. Yep. Jamie is her real name. Yeah, but yeah, she none of us really thought we were going to get the Illidan. It's like you think it's going to be more than 2 weeks of progression, and it wasn't. And it's like don't get me wrong, I'm happy we downed it, but at the same time, it's like it's kind of like what happened when AQ came out, right? When AQ was just a fucking like I don't know, at least for us, it was very easy. So it's like I feel like it's like that, but at least we're still wiping on stuff. You know what I mean? We're wiping on Illidan. We have a few wipes on Council this week. You know, so it's like at least there's some feeling of like, improvement, which is
See,
nice.
I always
But
feel like AQ was hard for us, but it really wasn't. Viscidus
yeah,
was hard for us. So
yeah,
we
this
just
is
didn't
Yeah.
have a full
Relaxing's that
clear.
shitty fight, man.
Yeah, we just didn't have a full clear for the whole time. And for
Yeah,
Alliance, Viscidus was
yeah,
an absolute nightmare.
yeah. With Poison Cleansing Tone, it makes that fight so easy, man. It's so
God damn
cheesy
it.
with
I know
Poison
we
Forgot
Cleansing.
about
we
Yeah,
we
that.
bitched at
yeah,
the Horde the entire time we were in that
yeah,
fight every time. Fucking
yep,
Horde.
yep. Yeah. That's like one of the few that I could think of, like raid wise, that there isn't a. It's the other way around, right? Usually, like Kings and Salve just are so powerful, but like in that
Especially,
situation,
well,
yeah,
and Kings, because it's a 10% stats thing, it just
yeah,
gets better and better
with
Yeah.
world buffs,
as
yeah,
Scaling.
well. Yeah, just
yeah,
with world buffs too, but as just the expansion goes
with the
on,
gear, yeah,
Kings just gets more and more powerful.
yeah, and don't sleep on Salve to either, dude. Salve is
Oh, Salve is
fucking
amazing.
amazing. Yeah, that's just 30% less threat is unbelievable. It's as a DPSer, I know.
That
Trust me.
that was actually the pally who was leeching off us in the BT farm when we were 2 and 3 manning it. That was his role. Like he would res me when I would scuff a pull, because the
Mhm.
pulling's the hardest part.
Yeah,
And then he would give salve to the people that weren't kiting, and they could just blow up the target.
yeah,
So
yeah.
it's pretty awesome. But yeah, so okay, so how our raid went, Kim might be able to help me with like weird stuff. But so we start at Mount Hygel. Everything's going swimmingly. We're killing it. We get through all the Alliance camp, and then we go to the Dirty Horde camp, and Thrall decides to screw us. And we're right off the bat, we notice something's wrong. The first wave just doesn't come, and we're like,
Hmm.
"Oh, well, that's weird." We're like, "Okay, well, I've heard rumors of maybe it comes with the boss or something." So we go through. Oh, that's not what I said. That's what a rogue Casabo in our raid said. And then we get through the whole set of waves, and then the boss is walking up, and then he despawns. And then the rogue that told us about this, Casabo, goes, I think he's in chat too, but Casabo goes, "Oh yeah, I heard that happens too. He just despawns." We're like, "Well, that would have been good info to know before
Yeah,
we just did all the
yeah.
waves." And I was like, somebody wanted some extra rep.
Yep.
Oh,
I also fell for it. It was like, beginning a raid. I just finished putting all the stuff for enchanting and everything in my bags. And Butters, one of our hunters, goes, "Hey Kim, you can get a spirit buff if you talk to Jaina, right?" I'm like, "Oh, cool, okay, all right." And I go and talk to her, and there's like maybe like 4 or 5 people currently at Hygel in, and lo and behold, it starts the fight.
Then
Oh yeah, it's all my fault, of course, yeah. Mm.
oh, that's
Never
hilarious.
gonna trust Butters ever
Oh,
again.
dude,
yeah, it's almost like you can see Rag after you kill what's his name?
I haven't trusted Butters forever. I mean, literally, I love the guy, but I don't trust him at all. He's the only reason I've ever died to Frogger. Like he was the one that got.
Did he snowball you?
Yeah, remember he got them to right after we dropped what's his name. He got him to put him in my group. Then as I'm walking up, he snowballs me because you have to be in the group for it to actually knock you down. You can't just be in the raid. Snowballs me.
Oh
I
my
get knocked down and
God.
I die to Frogger. Now
What a troll. Did he get world buffs?
I had already lost the buffs.
Okay.
He's
Okay,
not
okay.
that much of an ass, but
Yeah.
like since I'd lost the buffs, he saw a fun opportunity to
At that
get
point,
me,
who
and
cares?
it was
Yeah,
hilarious. Yeah, I was
yeah.
just like, damn, my run is tarnished. But yeah, don't ever trust Butters. Okay, but so that happens. So we're like, all right, well, so we wait like the 6 minutes or whatever it is before Thrall respawns, and you can start it again. Start it again, and boom, first wave doesn't come. So we're like, well, everybody's reading. It's like, turns out like you have to do a full instance reset with everybody out of the dungeon, yada, yada, yada. And we're like, well, let's just go to BT. So we go to Black Temple, and we just fly through. I don't think, did we run into any real problems? We just flew through,
Nope.
killed everything
really.
except for Mother, Council, and Illidan.
Mhm.
And then we're like, okay, we're going back to Mount Hyjal. We go back to Mount Hyjal. We get done with that. The raid did go like a good 35, 40 minutes over, but everybody that's in now seems to be pretty dedicated. Like, one or two people had to leave, but we have backups now, which helps a ton when someone does have to
Yeah.
leave. And if you have to leave, you have to leave. Like, raid time is a certain time, you
Yep.
know, but everybody seems to be invested in putting their all in. I didn't want to stay. I was like, I am tired. I want to go to bed. But
Yeah.
I stayed because, you know, we've become a family, and so, you know, we do it for each other, right? But yeah, so we cleared all that, and so yeah, we had everything done but 3 bosses at that point, and that's how the first night went. Then you heard about the trash farm, we did that, and
Mhm.
then we went in and we one-shot Mother again. Was super easy. Everybody knew everything about how the trash works now in Mother, because we did
Dude,
so
right.
many testing of things. Like, we did a lot of testing for science, like what we could kite, like how we could use different things on them. So everybody, like, the trash in there is like just a damn joke now, and it felt
Yeah.
like it was dying so fast because we'd been doing it with like 10-man groups. Killed Mother. Went on to Council. I think when we wiped more on Council than we did on Illidan. We wiped what, five times? It was kind of going bad.
Yeah, it was a little rougher. I think.
Yeah.
I think it's also because we tried to do a different mage strategy, right?
Yeah,
Which
well,
ended up
Mm.
kind of, like it probably would have worked, but like there's something about it that we just weren't doing
well,
correctly or something. But honestly, killing it the old fashioned way is perfectly fine with me.
see, I wish Yip was here because on the last attempt, they took what's her name, the priest, and instead of taking
Mhm.
her on the stairs, they moved her someplace else, because what was happening is when Yip was taking the pally in a circle,
Yeah.
sometimes the aura, some aura would get in there, and then all of a sudden the magic kick would get resisted like quite often.
Mm.
And that was what was like screwing us there. So they ended up taking the priest further away from the pally. And maybe somebody in chat can help me like properly convey what happened. I didn't look into it because Yip was here. I thought Yip was going to be here, but he probably knows exactly what was going on. But basically, we tagged her in a different spot, and that worked out fine. We were still having a little bit of problems. Our rogue IDDQD was getting a little miffed with the caster kickers. He's like, guys, I
Yeah.
need you to be faster than this.
Yeah, I also
Yeah.
feel like we do need to set up like a rotation for the caster kicks too. You know,
Well,
because I feel like they're just calling for it, and it's
it's
like, oh, this person needs to be in range to do that.
I have
And things
mentioned
like that.
it before, and I don't know why we don't do this, but you can set up a rotation, make a macro with your kick, and then the macro right after your kick sends a tell to who's next in line. You're queued for kick. So then they could just watch that mob and kick when it needs to be kicked. Like, you
Yeah.
know what I mean? Like, and that
Totally.
way, you don't have a problem. Like, it's something I did way back in Wrath when like we were doing, 10 and 25 man knacks on the Lich. What's his name? Dang it, I'm
Rezuvius?
Oh,
no, the last guy. The Lich
wait
King.
on.
JP.
Oh,
No.
Lich King.
Not no.
What
The
do you say?
Nax. The Lich that's in
Oh,
Nax.
Kel'Thuzad.
Yeah, thank you.
Oh.
Sorry, I just forget names all the time. But
That's right.
it's something we thought to do like back in Wrath. So I don't know why we don't do that. maybe it's because like we changed so much, but all you have to do to change you just have to know who's next in the rotation. You just change the name, and then
Yeah.
macro done. But yeah,
Yeah.
I just think like, those types of things can be easier and not clog up chat, not clog up voice chat where you don't
Yeah,
need
because there's so
clogging.
much going on in that fight as well that
hmm
like it would probably be a pretty valuable asset to have
And
clear
it's so
comms.
friggin' long, dude, because you like
Yeah.
the amount of damage that you have to do. There's shared health pool, right? But then they get healed. So it feels like you're doing double of the health pool over the course of the fight, basically, because they just go up percent, down a percent, up percent, down a percent, up percent, down 2%. Up, it's that's how the whole fight feels. It's you
Well,
know,
our big brains, one of them, Mira, was looking at the logs. He's like, she healed for 1.6 million. She's
mm,
like, Jesus. It's like we just had a
yeah,
couple, like we had like one of our wipes was 1%.
yeah, yeah,
And you're just like, no.
yeah, dude. It's
Uh,
it's a long fight, bro.
yep. But
Long
then
fight.
we went on to Illidan, wiped a couple times, but it was it it wasn't bad. Like it was just kind of learning. Like I don't, I was pretty tired at that point. I had spent
Yeah,
so long the past two days farming in the BT trash that I was just brain dead. I had spent 14 hours straight on Wednesday, had a 14-hour stream doing it, and then I had done it for 8 hours prior to raid. So I was just like, I don't know what's going on, but it appears that I'm doing my job okay. So I'm just gonna keep doing that and just let them figure it out. And so we did. Skull of Gul'dan dropped. I did not
oh,
get it, but I
You got a
have
4-piece though.
everything else. Yeah, I've got quite a bit of gear so far this
You have
stage.
5-piece.
I've got 4-piece. The fifth piece is vestments, which is my
Yeah, you got that
bis.
too, right?
I've got the bracers.
Ridiculous.
I've got the second bis boots. I've
are you
got
still playing? Um, what's that spec?
affliction.
Yeah,
Yeah, yep. I'm still
yeah,
doing affliction. I'm thinking I can switch to destro when we have everything on super farm. It
yeah,
won't
yeah.
be needed. Honestly, I really don't think the actual buff on Curse of Elements is really worth it for the amount of DPS we lose with me not being destro. What I do
Mm,
think's worth it is we have a new pally and 5% less physical damage from all mobs. I think is pretty actually worth it here while we're still in the early stages of the
yeah, yeah.
tier. So that's the part that I think is really still worth it. But I think we're actually having a DPS loss as a raid with me as Affy, just
Yeah, I
because there
hear a
would
lot
be
of guilds
more.
just throwing away their affliction locks.
Yep.
I've heard, or changing them to demo. Is what I mean. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah. I mean, it's really it's dying down. Like, yeah, you might have a little bit personal, like the our two
yeah,
mages and our three locks might have a little bit less, total DPS for them personally, but as a raid, we would have a lot more if
yep,
I was Destro. But I do think that the 5% less physical damage is worthwhile right now, especially until our pally's set.
yeah, yeah. Makes sense.
Oh, but
Yeah,
yeah,
makes sense.
yeah, been having a good time. And Affy's been great for the solo farm. So definitely want to stay that, at least
Mm,
until we're not doing that. Because with me having the siphon life, I mean, I just never run out of mana. And I can get popped
yeah,
one time, still live, and just heal back
yeah.
up really quick. And so it's actually working out really good for that. But yeah, that was how our raid went. I'm sorry it wasn't as fun as Yip's storytelling, but I tried. I gave it a
You
good
did good.
college try. All right, well, let's move into the news. So first off in the news, it started today. Unfortunately for you people listening on Monday, it's already over, but February 18th, 19th, and 20th, there's an arena tournament with a shared prize pool of $100,000 in NA and EU. Did you guys hear anything about this?
Nope.
This went
Vaguely.
right under my radar. Like the last one they had, we had people from actual Blizzard on the show to talk about it, and
Mm.
and then like now I didn't even know it was happening until today.
Huh.
They should have like a. Honestly, I feel like they should implement in the games like a general board and stuff like that. You know, like I feel like it would be, just stop by and get the newspaper type of thing. Like, oh, I'm at the bank. The news vendor is here, right? And you
Yeah.
go and check out the board and see what it says.
Oh, well, Stoof said some of our guys signed up for it. Maybe I should check Raid Discord more often. Dang it. Yeah, well,
I think it was mentioned maybe in Discord, but there wasn't really that much talk.
I think I do remember seeing that like on my phone, and I was like,
Oh, that's cool.
well, I was probably like, oh, well,
my
I'll check that out soon. I didn't think it would be like this quick. Like I feel like, was it on the launcher? Like, how are we supposed to know about this?
Yeah.
Like I honestly feel like for the classic stuff, they should build in something, like not even on the launcher, like have it on the character screen. Like when like the servers are having problems or something, you go into the character screen, and on the left hand side you see like, oh, we
Oh,
know
yeah,
the
that would actually be a
servers are
great
having
place for it,
problems.
yeah.
Something like this that's times, like don't put bullshit in there, but an arena tournament, have it right there and say click here to join. Boom.
Yeah.
That's what
And you could choose like that way. You can also choose a character directly
yeah,
to
and
sign up with.
well, and
Yeah,
it's
that's
like
pretty sick.
it's something League of Legends does. Like, just have it right there, and I just don't get it. But I don't know. Maybe it was in the launcher. I'm not.
I mean,
I'm not
I
real
feel like they're
sure.
pretty bad about that kind of transparency in general. There's so many things that have
Yeah.
come out that it's just been, oh, like, did you guys know about this? And you have to hear from like guildmates that have Wowhead news on their homepage or something,
like
right?
the thing I was talking about with hardcore, they increasing the quest gold. I didn't know about it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that's also why we're here. We're here to bring the info to people. But it's weird that I don't catch something like that, and I do apologize. I should have had this on last week's episode, or maybe even the week before, because I had it weeks in advance before. But you can still check out the VODs at youtube.com/Warcraft or twitch.tv/Warcraft. So check those
Okay.
out later. What's up next?
Was it 2s or 3s or 5? Was it everything or
Oh,
just 2s?
yeah, good call. It's a threes tournament. The brackets are already up. They had some matches today. I haven't got to watch them. It's been a crazy day, but I'm going to be catching up on those tomorrow and watching the next ones because it'd be interesting to see. But yeah, it's threes. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, okay, so you're saying
Twitch.tv/Warcraft. Oh, all right. So this next one, Melderon. I wish Yip was here because it would have been great to have both Melderon and Yip, but maybe Stoof will like it. Stoof in chat. There's a new guild recruitment feature on Warcraft logs.
Yeah.
So have you looked into this at all, Melderon?
I haven't. One of our other third GM does most of the recruitment, and I will next time we have a meeting. I'll bring this up. But yeah, it's really good because usually it's just spamming in game or using the server Discord, which people don't really look at those a lot. So definitely cool.
Yeah, and you can see all of their info and information and what they've done right there in Warcraft logs. There is a looking for guild feature where you could put yourself in, and then you show up in a list of people looking for guilds. So you can look specifically for classes, servers that you need, yada yada yada. Then there's also the guilds can put out looking for more, and then they can say what they want. You can apply. It looks like, if it gets used, it looks like a really useful tool and a way to find somebody who really fits with you. Kind of like a dating site, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like
Yeah.
Tinder for, WoW. Swipe left,
Super
swipe
cool.
right.
It's a good idea. It's a really good idea.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just all the
But
info's
it's
there. I
just
thought
like
was cool.
it's just on Warcraft logs, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, if you follow the
Yeah,
link,
that's cool. They're
Um,
like totally like an outside organization too, right?
yeah, I'll put it in chat too. That's the actual link on Warcraft logs.
Huh.
Oh, I think you're muted, Bob.
Oh, yep. Sorry, I thought you were
Oh,
gonna
okay.
stick it in Twitch. I'll stick it in Twitch chat too.
Oh, right. Forgot about that.
Oh, that's pretty cool.
Yeah, super cool. So that's something like I really wanted to get Yip's thoughts on it, because Yip does a lot of our recruitment, and he definitely did. I think he did most of it towards the end, like the last half of Classic. And so I bet he would have loved to have had this. But at the same time,
Totally.
I had told him about, like, do you ever use the White Maid Discord? And he was like, no, it's horrible. So I was interested to see what his thoughts on it were on this. I'll definitely be asking him next week, but it's just a bummer he wasn't here to ask him now.
Yeah, I wish this was, even though we had a really easy time in Classic with recruitment, I wish this was around for Classic,
Definitely.
Yeah.
Definitely.
I also think that like maybe had this kind of thing been around a little earlier, it could have helped solve a lot of faction imbalance stuff too.
Yep.
Right? Like this would have been a great preventative tool, kind of within those veins.
I agree.
Yep. Okay, and so the next pieces of news are for Season of Mastery. They fixed a issue in Blackwing Lair preventing the I can't say this word, portcullis. Portcullis. Just how it sounds.
Sounds like a food.
It's the it's like the gate that's like, you see, if you can envision a castle, there's the moat, there's a bridge that crosses the moat. It's that main gate that raises and lowers. That's
Yeah.
the portcullis.
Yeah, I definitely know what it is. I just can't ever say it. It's kind of like, is it a brazier or a brazier?
That's Death Camp.
But they
Depends on what you're looking at, Bob.
Yeah.
Well, both of them mesmerize me. I will just say that. Stare into the flames for hours, and the other two.
Yeah.
So this has been fixed in Blackwing Lair when you enter and leave combat. The next one is they fixed an issue with the What Is Love quest line. And that's part of the Valentine's Day stuff. I guess we didn't mention that. We should mention the Valentine's Day thing is out, and that candy is really good. So if you're, it stacks with everything, and they all stack too. So
Yep.
Definitely check out. It's plus 2% hit for melee, 23 spell power, 44 healing.
Does it stack on top of food?
It stacks on top of anything. Yeah.
Oh wow.
Now, the food that you get, the buff that you get from trading in the 5 of each card in the different faction cities, that does go over something. Like, it goes over Zanzas and stuff, so I don't know what it does in TBC because I haven't used it, but it used to always overwrite my Zanza in Vanilla Classic. But the actual candy, you could have all 4 pieces of the candy and food, because I was doing it in hardcore. The last piece of news for Season of Mastery is the Adventure Awaits buff aura benefits all Seasons of Mastery players below 60. Now also grants 100% bonus gold from quest rewards. We already covered that earlier, but I'll just throw it in the news section here. So
it's pretty big.
Yep. That is all of the news for this week. It was kind of slow, so let's move into discussion. So in this week's discussion, it kind of got sparked for me First off, Yip said he wasn't coming, and I knew Melderon was coming on the show. And me and Melderon love Wrath of the Lich King, and Scotty J
Yep.
put out a video saying Wrath confirmed. And it
Nice.
was, he even admitted at the start of the video that it was complete clickbait. I've actually turned into a Scotty J lover, so wasn't real enthused with him in the beginning, but I absolutely love his stuff now. So, but he was he basically, a new dev server showed up, WoW Dev 3, and he thinks it is Wrath. And I don't know if it's right or not. That's not what this discussion is about. This discussion is just about me being excited for Wrath and looking to Wrath coming. So kind of wanted to we did, an episode or two about, this for TBC when we were in Classic Vanilla, and I thought we'd do it here because a lot of shit changes.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
the first one I want to ask.
Dude, wolf spec.
That's definitely on the list. We could move it up to the top if you want to, but we need to talk about this one first because I don't know if you guys remember this one because I didn't until making the notes, and then I remembered how scarred this one was. Like, it scarred me bad.
Really? What was it? The tabard system?
No, before Wrath comes out, the Scourge Invasion. Do you remember this? It was in the days leading up to Wrath.
I don't remember.
Oh yeah, you might remember after I talk about it. So the Scourge Invasion, it started, and people would get turned into zombies, and you'd be stuck as a zombie until until a person actually took it off of you. And it increasingly became harder and harder to dispel, taking multiple casts. But if you got to them before they would get it off of you, it would infect them. It literally...
In-game zombies?
Yeah, it was supposed to go on for 2 weeks, but they ended it after days because you literally couldn't go anywhere. Everybody was turning into a zombie. You couldn't complete quests. You couldn't level alts. It was a shit show. And I wonder if they're going to do it for Classic Wrath in the lead up
I can't
to
believe I
Wrath.
don't remember this.
It
I
sounds like a lot
wonder.
of fun.
I think what happened was I heard Wrath was coming out, and I wasn't super active during the end of TBC. And I think because I went to the midnight opening, I got Wrath the night it came out. So I'm wondering if I didn't play the couple weeks coming up to Wrath.
If
It's
you
very
didn't,
possible.
then you
Yeah.
wouldn't. Yeah, you wouldn't have seen this at all. I think it was 2 weeks before launch. I could be wrong on that, but it was like, it was before launch, and it was supposed to like get everybody scared for the launch of Wrath. But it was definitely tuned in a way that the trolls could make sure everybody stayed infected. So
Yeah.
there were people, and I was one of them when I figured out I couldn't do anything else. There were people just going around making sure everybody stayed infected.
Yep. Sounds like Corrupted Blood a little bit,
It's,
right? Like
yeah,
the blood incident. Yeah.
I think they probably got the idea from Corrupted Blood, but this was a little bit more like, because you could still play as the zombie, and as long as you didn't get close to somebody, you're not going to infect them, and you'd want them to like cure you or dispel you, but it got harder and harder to do that, taking multiple casts, and then by that time, one of us trolls would be on your ass and infecting you. And then all of a sudden, like, people are literally hiding in holes everywhere, and they actually ended it after, I think, 4 days. I think it was 4 days total. It was supposed to go on for 2 weeks, but it was a crazy thing.
So only priests and I guess paladins could dispel it?
Was
it magic?
I don't remember exactly.
Yeah.
Like, and I had forgotten because it was literally like 4 days. And I had forgotten about this completely. And I think my brain had thought it was the other one, the one from ZG. I think my brain, had thought it was Corrupted Blood, but it wasn't. It was freaking this that I remembered was like, Oh my god, this was crazy.
You know
Yeah.
what? I feel like that'd be it would be really interesting to turn that into a competition. Like
Yeah.
who is the last 10 standing or something like, or like who's the last
Yeah.
party,
Who
right?
has the most dispels? Who has the most infections? You know, kind of
Yeah,
thing.
yeah, you
Yeah,
rack up
yeah,
points, get like a
yeah,
fresh new really cool mount, right? Like
yeah,
that'd be sick. Like, oh, those are the survivors. Oh,
yeah. Would be
or
pretty
like some kind
interesting.
of title.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
there were different rules. I would love to like see something on it. I'm sure there's a YouTube video on it some place, but I had forgotten about it,
Yeah,
and
me too.
like I
Totally forgot
didn't,
about
yeah,
this.
I didn't have enough time to find a
Word.
YouTube vid on it, like prior to the show, because I had to come up with this pretty fast for for the discussion. But I'm definitely gonna want to talk about this more once I do some more research and kind of remember everything. Because I think you could die and you would res back as like your actual person. But like people were like at like the graveyards because they wouldn't go back to their body because they didn't want to get reinfected. So there were
Yeah.
zombies standing at the graveyards to grieve people.
Huh.
It was it was crazy. I think in this day and age, like there's no way they can re-release this. So I'm interested to see if they try to do it.
I
Yeah.
think they need to tweak it,
Yep. I
right?
agree.
But
They need to think
it sounds
about
like it could be
this.
really cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I thought that was cool. But yeah, so what are some big changes coming to Wrath? So let's just go ahead and start with the big one. Dual spec is coming. You guys happy?
Yeah. I'm happy
Oh
that
yeah.
they're releasing something that when it came out. That's when I think they should release things. You know.
So
And I think
you're still on the page that we shouldn't have it. We shouldn't have had it in vanilla or TBC.
it wasn't part of the original game. I know it's a really easy
Get off my
kind of
lawn.
convenient argument, but like it's a gold sink and it's a significant gold sink, and if you should, there should be a cost to it. I think, it coming out in Wrath is fine, but it's not going to bother me. I respec every week, no matter what, because I respec PvP every week.
Same.
So yeah, so like I fit that into my budget and I do it. And is it going to be convenient? Absolutely, yeah, it's going to be convenient.
Yeah, well, I
And
mean, the
it's
biggest
not gonna be
part.
cheap either. So it's like it's still a gold sink in one way or another.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's
I
a
have a
1,000 gold. But can you imagine
Yeah.
1,000 gold in Classic? That would have been a significant gold sink.
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah.
Yep.
I have a crazy take on it. Is if right now, if you were able to give dual spec to the servers that have low population versus their horde, because it's harder to like go out and get gold and stuff like that, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
It might incentivize people to come over, but I think that would be probably too much, right? But
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, I think, was it you that talked to me about that, or was it Snowme that said that? Was it you that told me that initially as an idea?
Oh,
I've
I don't know.
heard that
I just
idea.
thought of it right now.
Huh, I think maybe Snowme had that
Or maybe I
idea a
might be
while back or
regurgitating something
something.
earlier that I
Well,
don't remember that I remember.
I have another hot take for you. So, what we're seeing over time is that people on PvP servers don't actually want to be on PvP servers. Like they're making mega servers full of like the other faction. And it got me to thinking, and my stream helped me out a lot with this because it got me to really think back because I played at the beginning and I got to remembering that through Molten Core and BWL on PvP servers, nobody except for tanks were PvE spec'd. Like you did Molten Core and BWL in top guilds as your normal PvP spec. That's probably why my top guild
Yeah.
had no warriors, because warriors PvP spec was garbage, so we didn't take
Yeah.
any. And so I got to thinking like, well, the people originally on PvP servers wanted PvP the most. And when raiding came out, it was a means to an end, like because dungeons were always a means to an end for us to PvP better. And
Yeah. Yeah.
when
Yep.
raiding came out, it was a means to an end to PvP better. So we always stayed PvP spec, and only the tanks, like I never had to respec. Like, but all the tanks would have to do it constantly. I remember being like, "Oh, that sucks," but the guild would pay for them to respec, and so it
Yeah.
got me to thinking, well, that's why World PvP was so fucking good then,
Yeah.
is
Yeah.
because everybody
Everyone
on
was ready all
PvP
the
server
time.
were always
Yep.
ready. You know, they were picking a spec that was kind of like half and half. Like,
Yep.
like
Yeah.
you're getting some PvP skills and some PvE skills, and you're still able to down the content because you're, you know, good players, but the content's probably a little harder for you on PvP servers because you guys aren't maxing out. It wasn't until AQ and eventually Nax that the top guilds on PvP servers, you have to listen to that catalyst,
Yeah.
on PvP servers were actually requiring, you know,
Respecs.
yeah, an actual PvE spec. And so that's why World PvP was so good, because we were always ready for it and it's what we were looking for. And
Yeah.
that's something that we have not had in Classic. And I think to myself, even me who loves PvP, anytime I was PvE spec'd, I would literally not engage in any PvP combat at all. If I'm walking to a dungeon, I get attacked, I put a shield on, I keep walking. And I just slash pity the person the entire time that I walk, because it's stupid for me to engage with them as a Fury Warrior. And so I'm just like, if even I won't do it, that was the problem. And I
Yeah.
feel like dual spec could have fixed that. I feel like dual
Yeah, like I
spec
would
could have
have
been
for
really
sure.
healthy for the game from the get go.
Yeah, if I
Yeah.
was in the game, if it was in the game, like of course I would have a spiel, but I think I would obviously use it. Like it's not like it's not useful. I think the problem comes into actually when you're raiding, and it's not the PvP aspect. I think the issue with me is I don't like how a healer can become a tank
Yeah,
instantly.
that's the only
I
good
don't like that.
argument that I've
Yeah,
ever heard. That's
yeah,
the only, like, I hear arguments like, and I'm, you know, I love you,
yeah,
Melderon, but like
yeah.
the argument of like, well, it wasn't in there before. I hate that argument. Like,
Mm.
Cargos made it like when Wiki was on his show a month or two back. Wiki's like, give me a good argument. Why not? And Cargos is like, it's because it's just cringe. And I'm like, that's not a good argument. But what you're saying about
I think what he
PvE
meant
is a
by it
good
being
argument.
cringe. I think that's what he meant by it being cringe. Literally think that's what he meant. He just didn't articulate himself well. I just don't like that you're in a raid and you're like, well, we could just, we could just change our comp immediately.
Yeah,
You
and
know, I just, yeah,
that's the only argument I've ever heard that I'm like, that is a good argument. And that
yeah,
sucks, you know, if a guild forces you to do that. Like, and there's no way to be like, you could have, like, the only other way to say you could have a PvE and a PvP spec is to say that you could only have your second spec active in BGs and the open world. And
yeah,
and
yeah,
anytime you go into a instance, it's the other spec. And that's the only way I could figure out how to fix
right.
that particular argument.
Yeah, or you
See, I-
pick the spec you want before you zone in. Once you're zoned in, you're locked, kind of thing. You know what I
that's a
mean?
great
Locked
solution.
Yeah,
locked for
Yeah.
that
yeah,
raid ID. Now the only
yeah,
I have heard that one before. Maybe it was you that told it to me. The only thing that scares me about that is fucking people that are dipshits like me. Like, I would zone in my PvP spec because I was just trying
and
to
you
not
forgot.
die.
Yeah, you forgot.
But
Yeah,
if it could fix that easily by saying, having a prompt that comes up and says, you're entering a instance, please choose your spec for this instance. It will be locked until next
yeah,
week.
yeah, for sure.
I think maybe also you might be able to do like, oh, if you reset the raid, you'll get all the trash back, but you can respec. You know.
Yeah,
Yeah, see, and
Um,
'cause
yeah.
but do you like
Uh,
that more than my thought of you could have both of them active any place except for an instance, but in an instance you could
yeah.
only have one of them activated?
With that
Well,
caveat, I'm totally fine with it. Oh, sorry,
well, okay.
that question was
I
for
mean, oh, sorry. Good.
no, that question was for you. I'm sorry, that wasn't for me.
Oh, and I mean, it was for
Yeah,
both of you guys.
yeah,
Well, me personally, I'm actually opposed to that that thought though, because Me personally, I like being able to just go in and like try a bunch of different shit out. Like, okay, we could try these 4 different specs for this fight and see what's like going to be the best for us and like how we play or like who we have, right?
Yeah.
Because I think at a certain point there becomes a limitation of how many people actually being able to make every raid and everything like that. So like having
Yeah.
the flexibility to maximize with what you have or
Well,
like optimize your
and
setup for who you
if
have
you had
is
just
gonna be nice.
one that was a instance only spec, then you'd still have the pliability to be able, okay, we need to go respec. Our tank has got to take this skill. There's no way they could keep like, so
Right.
if you
That
lock
happens a
it, you
lot.
might get screwed. Even if there is a
Yeah.
prompt, you might get screwed because somebody's like, I should have taken this talent, or we could bring a boom.
Yeah, we can't kill it because of
Yeah.
we need we need another tank.
We
Like,
just recruited a boom kid mid-week, and now we need to tell our heal kid to go back totally healing, like,
yeah.
or what do they call
Or what
those?
if you could only change dual spec as a ghost, or like you have to take some kind of res sickness in order to
Yeah.
and like wait out duration in order to actually use it properly.
I think what you're pointing out, Kim, is like the most altruistic, like good guy way of like doing it, right? I think like, like that's makes a lot of sense to me. But I think the vast majority of people would use it to min-max to keep the content, right? That's what I'm
Yeah.
afraid of. And it's
Mhm.
like, well, this fight we do six healers. This fight we do 2 healers. This fight I feel like that it turns into like this, and that for me, that whole shifting around breaks the whole like class fantasy continuity of the world kind of feeling, And I
Yeah.
think that's what I really mean by when I say I don't like it in raids. And now eventually, of course, that becomes null and void, right? But I forget in Wrath, do you have to like use an item to do it or talk to a trainer and do
I think
it?
you just click on your talents tab and like press
Yeah, I
activate
forget.
or whatever.
Some part of me
I'm
feels like it was
pretty
harder when it
sure.
first came out.
I'm
Yeah.
pretty sure you do it on the fly. You just
Okay, so
you
there's no like you have to go back to
there
the trainer and
there
say
is a
switch or
casting
something.
time.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
It's
well
pretty
that's
long and you have no
and you
mana at
can't,
the
but
end
you
of it.
can't do it in
And
combat, right?
You
you
can't do it in
can't do it in combat.
Yeah,
And for me, like something I didn't think about when I first was having these discussions with people about dual spec is I was a rogue this entire time. So
Yeah.
like there were probably people in my guild that pressured people to have 2 PvE specs, but they never pressured me because I was a rogue and I had a PvP spec and a PvE spec, and there's no reason to have 2 rogue specs. I mean, there could be some really mini maxi reasons to have
Right.
it, but not really. It's not like going from a healer to a tank or from
Well,
a heal to a
also see
DPS.
I could also see people that only like the PvE going a build with like, for example, like improved exposed armor right now, right? And if
Right.
you have 2 rows, you can trade off and be like, hey, okay, I'll do IA this time, you do it next time, type
Right.
of deal, right?
Yeah, I'm more thinking of the simplistic thing. Like this fight's really easy. Let's drop 2 healers, and now we blow it the fuck up. Like that. That's more my nefarious,
Yeah.
not nefarious, min maxy type of mentality. And I think it gets worse when you have the ability to do that, which we'll see in Wrath. We'll see comp switches now, right?
I mean, but we're already kind of seeing that kind of thing too with like chamois flipping and all that, like moving
Oh
them,
yeah,
right?
that was always part of TBC. But yeah, for sure, I agree. Like I think it's cool that it only existed in TBC. That is the only expansion you could do that. The bloodlust swapping thing to me is super interesting.
It
We
makes
don't
me
actually do it. We don't actually do it.
We
at all.
don't do it. We did it on our first kill of Vash.
Yeah, first killing, that's it.
But it felt so cringy to me.
Yeah,
and
it felt a little cheap.
And I'm the one in the group that got all the lusts too, and I just feel like I'm like, wow, so I'm part of the reason you're losing some fun in your group, and that just kind of sucks. Like,
yep.
That's like it is a neat thing doing it. Like, I will give you that. It is a neat thing, and it's a way to really min-max the game. It just feels bad.
Yeah.
But yeah, we don't do it at all now. We haven't done it since our
we haven't done it.
Our boomkin pushed for it basically, and then he quit, and then we haven't done it since.
Yeah. We kind of do it in the respect that we have 6 shaman a lot of the times. So one group does get less than twice. But that's because we have an extra shaman. It's not because we're trying to. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. I take it back. We did do that. We did have an extra shaman at one point before that shaman went over to become our new prot pally.
But we rotate that group. We rotate which group gets less than twice. We don't give it to the same group every time.
Oh, that's cool. That's cool.
Yeah. It's never to the healers, but but yeah, it's usually we give it to one melee group or the next melee group or the next caster group or the next. We try to like be very fair with that. Yeah.
That's a really nice way of doing it.
Yeah, that is pretty cool. All right, well, we could talk about dual spec forever, but it is coming. So regardless of maybe it'll be in like future seasons of Mastery. I have no idea, but it's not coming to TBC. It might come like in pre-patch. I don't know, maybe, but like
probably in pre-patch,
but
or maybe the vendor will be available, but you can't hit it until you're 80.
Oh yeah, I don't remember if you could buy it before 80. Because
I don't.
Cold weather flying, you had to be like what 78 to get cold weather flying. For anybody that doesn't know, that's something that changes in Wrath. Like you can't fly in Northrend until you buy cold weather flying, which is like I believe around 1,000 gold. But I don't know if you can get the dual spec early. I just don't know that you would really need it early, but maybe if you went into PvP while in the open world,
it would probably be super useful for healers leveling.
Oh, but it's another change that comes in Wrath that makes healer leveling much simpler. And I don't have that on my list. Melderon, do you want to take that one?
What? So I'm sorry. Are we talking about dual spec for healers? Is that what we're
saying?
No.
We're talking about spell damage and healing power and what changes.
Oh well, that happened in TBC.
No.
Something additional happens in Wrath.
Oh, okay. So I don't have it on the list, but let me remind you guys: everything in Wrath is spell power.
Yes.
And
but they kind of tease that in TBC.
Yeah, there's a modifier for it on healing, but everything is spell power, so you have quite a bit more. Like, if you switch your dual spec to your PV like your damage spec, then that same gear is super powerful spell power gear. Like what separates healer gear from caster gear is basically more spell power, and the healer gear has a lot of spirit on it. So you're still gonna have like some pretty comparable DPS gear when you do switch your spec over to DPS.
I see your point. So TBC kind of flirted with that before they went full spell power, right? Because now now everything there's no just healing pieces anymore, right? That's what I was trying to say in TBC. Right?
Yep.
So every healing piece gives 30. I think it's 33% of the healing is spell power. In addition, right? So this is just basically evening that even more.
Well, and it also makes it so that, say you're getting a bunch of healer gear, your DPS can actually take that gear if the healers already have it and actually utilize it until they get a proper DPS piece, and vice versa. Healers can take the DPS gear until they get a proper healing piece, which is pretty cool for like early gearing.
So they're basically taking out the gap in availability, huh?
Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
Which for us as
gonna make a loot list a nightmare, but
it'll make the loot list a nightmare. But honestly, it'll be more like once, like it'll be the type of thing where you're only giving it to somebody if everybody who's on the loot list has it, type of deal.
Yeah.
Like it's not going to be a thing. It's going to be a thing where it goes to roll. I don't know if you guys have that where it's like, okay, now you roll off spec.
So we basically, the way we do it is, if nobody wants the item, we say roll, right? And if it's for a person's main spec, we give it to them before if it's an off spec. That's just how we do it. Yeah. Like,
yeah. Main spec over off spec.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
that's basically what would happen. It just
Yeah.
might give you a little extra oomph on progressing for that next week type of deal.
yeah.
Winky and Chad, what's up, brother?
So now we have to add a second caveat, which would be, it's an off-spec piece, but it's an upgrade, right? And nobody else wants it, so it should go to that person.
So then, it would actually
Yeah,
it would be a nightmare because it turns
Yeah.
into main spec at that
Yeah.
point. Well, and
Right.
then you're gonna have the nightmare of 10-man. Well, 10-man's probably won't be loot counseled for you guys.
Yeah, I don't know if 10-mans are even going to be worth doing in the first tier.
You don't
'Cause
think
we're
so?
gonna hopefully we'll have Sunwell gear, right?
Oh,
And
true.
we might just skip 10-man. 10-man Nax is a fucking joke, dude. Like, we did 10-man Nax. We were terrible, and we like destroyed that place. You know what I mean? Like, imagine what's gonna happen this
Friend
time.
of the
It's gonna be a joke, bro.
friend of
Like,
the
it's gonna be-
show, Naismith, his guild went in and did a split with Sunwell gear,
Yeah.
and one of their teams forgot to or didn't change it to 10-man, and it was on 25-man. And so they're doing the split, and one of the groups is like, dude, this is a joke. And they were like 5 bosses ahead of the other group. And the other
They were
group
doing 25-man.
Yeah, the other group
Yeah.
was like, dude, this is hard. And they're like, dude, it's not hard. You guys, like, what is wrong with you? And they realize, oh, we're on 25-man.
Yeah.
It's so
I don't know.
good.
Were they able to make any progress?
Yeah. They
See, that's what I mean, right? Like like that's crazy.
Yeah, that's pretty sick.
Yeah.
So I think like what's gonna happen is, like, unless they make some changes, I think they might get a lot of people just quitting or just like waiting for Alduar to come out, because it's it is.
There are certain items though you have to think about though. Trinket stacking might be a thing, like having dual spiders, like as melee, having the double haste
Oh, for sure. Like
pops.
there's good gear. Yeah, I think it's going to be worth doing. I'm not saying it's not worth doing. I just, like, for progression means alone, it's not worth doing, right? If you don't have enough time in the week, let's say, for your guild to do both, like, I think a lot of guilds are going to skip it, right? Like that's all I'm saying. It's not like Karazhan where the loot table is, on par with Gruul and Mag. I feel like it's all upgrade. Like the tier's higher. It's 7.5. 7 and 7.5. So it's like, I'm not saying people won't do it. I'm just saying, like, it's such a breeze, man. Like, if I was able to do that raid in the guild I was in when I was playing Wrath, a dog can do that raid. Literally a dog. Just tell him to sit. The place he's playing Death Knight, just have his snout just like hit the keyboard, and they'll clear next.
Well, and there's so many changes.
And everyone's seen it, right? The reason Nax was brought out for Wrath is because no one did it. Now everyone's done it.
Oh, right? Everybody's done it with.
So it's like,
the problem is though, we ran into a ton of problems in Nax because everybody remembered Wrath Nax, and they're like, oh shit, we actually have to tank all of the 4 horsemen at the same time instead of not having to mess with the back too.
We had hunters tanking them in Wrath.
Hunters. You had any caster, like any rage taking in the back. Yeah, and so
ridiculous.
It's definitely going to be different, but I think people will be wanting to do it because of like certain trinket stacking and stuff of that nature, and also just early on you're going to want to do it because it's just a faster thing. But I actually don't know how Sunwell gear scales to Wrath gear.
I mean, I think it's probably going to be similar to what we saw with Nax gear. People were not replacing a lot of gear until tier 5.
So it kind of then depends on the class. Depends on.
Yeah, it'll be class dependent, 100%. Yeah. Now, for me, someone who's switching classes, right? It may be very prudent for me to do 10-man because I'll be number 1 tanking, number 2, playing a class that has no access to gear before the content comes out. I'm playing DK, right? So I have to. It's probably gonna be very prudent for me to do it. But so DKs are gonna want to do 10-man, and there's going to be a shit ton of DKs. So there'll be groups for sure. There'll be groups.
I mean, yeah, I would also imagine 10-mans for alts would probably be pretty prominent.
Yeah,
like a pretty good way to just get caught up and stuff.
Well, and it's just gonna be something easy you can do to possibly get different, like, cloth, everything, and if you can do it fast, you can you do it fast. But
3 Drake, Obsidian Sanctum, and Malagos are harder than Nex, like way harder, right? So that's gonna be the real, and those are really fun, right? They're pretty short and they're super fun raids. Like Obsidian Sanctum was amazing. I love that raid.
I'll be
Like, those are gonna be,
interested. I'll be interested to see how it goes this time around, because we were one of the top guilds on the server that I was on, Mugthal, right?
Mhm.
But we only did 3 drakes and 4 lights once each. Like, we did it for the achievement, and then we didn't feel that beating our head against the wall again was worth it for the gear you got past it.
Yeah, I think 3 Drake is going to be like the thing now, right? It's good. No one's going to not do 3 Drake.
But Melon chat saying check your text.
But yeah, same Bob. We did it like once just to say we can do it back in Wrath. Same thing.
Yeah,
but I think now this time around it's going to be like the way to do it. Yeah.
It'll be like what you're doing every week type of deal.
Yeah, like why are you not doing 3 Drake, Obsidian Sanctum? Yeah, I think that's pretty much just what it's going to be this time.
Gotcha.
I could be wrong, totally wrong, but like the amount of information that's always available and the comps and the
what people don't
dual spec. Yeah.
Like, there's I believe there's separate achievements for 1 Drake up, 2 Drakes up, 3 Drakes up, and you get all 3 if you do 3 Drakes up. But people might slowly work up to it too.
I think there are guilds that are going to work up to it, but I think there's a lot of guilds that are going to just do it. Like, just let's do it. We've all done this before. If people, like, especially private server guilds or guilds that are doing it now, like on private servers, I think they're going to just run in and do it immediately, right? Like, it's a clusterfuck, but it's definitely doable. I don't think it's harder than, like, I'm trying to think of it's not harder than, like, Kill Jaden's going to be, or maybe even Saffron the first time you've done it. That was a much harder fight, I think.
Yeah, well, I just remember, dude, Yogg Sarad with 4 lights up was one of the hardest things I've ever done in my life during current content. It was rough. And when we did 3 Drakes up, we only did it once, and Mel got the mount, so it tells you that.
That's amazing. That's nice.
I guess I need to check a text from Mel. But why don't we talk about the new way you grind reputation? Because in TBC, reputation was kind of a pain in the ass, and getting attuned to dungeons or attuned to raids was kind of a pain in the ass. And they kind of streamlined that here in Wrath. And they help you.
System,
yeah, so why don't you go ahead and talk about that while I go check this real quick?
Yeah, so there's X amount of factions, just like there was in TBC. And in TBC, factions are related to the heroics you're doing, right? So obviously, like the Auchindoun dungeons or Lower City and, or Consortium. In Wrath, all you have to do is buy the tabard of that faction, wear it while you're in a heroic. Doesn't matter what heroics you're doing, and all the faction goes to that. All the rep goes to that faction. So,
and is heroics the only way to accomplish that with the tabard, or are there does it apply to raids and?
No, so it doesn't work in raids.
Okay.
Doesn't work in raids, as far as I remember. This is all from memory. This is not from searching, right? So what I did as a DK, right? I would get the factions up first that were important to me, and then who gave a shit after that was all gravy, right? So everyone will get their factions. So what's going to happen is the meta is going to develop, and it probably already exists because people come from private servers. These are the dungeons you do every day because they're the fastest rep grinds, and then you put the tabard on. And then you get your rep grind super fast. Like, there's going to be a meta to it and everything, right? So everyone's going to be spamming the same dungeons over and over again, which kind of sucks because a lot of dungeons that don't have a high rep per hour or whatever, or rep per run, those are going to be less sought after which sucks because
Right.
you need gear from those dungeons for certain classes. But I think, that's just part of Wrath. That's how it went, So
Yeah,
like,
I remember grinding Exalted or whatever, and it was such a big pain in the ass where I just didn't like I put it off for so long. But if it's just like heroics and stuff, I think
But
that would end up incentivizing a lot more people to actually play too.
but you have
Like
to
it's
yeah.
like kind of like the PvP changes right now.
you have
It's like
to
make it more accessible.
Mm-hmm.
you have to remember this though. Say somebody says, "Hey, I really need X and Y from dungeon B," right?
Mm-hmm.
And you go, I don't have anything in there, but I can throw this tabard on, and then I'm
Yep.
getting
Yep.
something for coming, and and that's what incentivizes people
Yeah.
to do other dungeons more.
That's a
Yes,
good point, Bob.
there
Yeah.
will
Yeah.
be a meta for people that are min-maxing at the very start, trying to like max everything. They're going to go for the one that's the fastest to run with the most trash that gives you, they're going to be doing their botanicas for crazy amounts of rep while they're getting the rep from the tabard. But there's also going to be the thing later where people are like, oh, I'll definitely go and I'll use this tabard and make out for it, and that's what's going to be
Mm-hmm.
nice because it's going to be a way to like help people. Like I think Wrath was the like where they found a sweet spot in quality of life stuff, and then they saw how popular it was, and then they just lost their fucking minds with quality of
Yeah.
life stuff and went way
Yep.
too
Yeah.
far. You're like,
I can see that.
Wrath was where it was like, oh, most of this stuff is really freaking good, and then it's just
Yeah.
like they saw people like that. They're like, oh, well, let's just make everything easy, and like that's
Wrath is
for
a
the
tipping point.
casuals.
That's why it's not my favorite. That's why it's not my favorite expansion. I love it. I will play the shit out of it, but it's not my favorite because of what happened during Wrath.
Yeah,
With
well,
quality of life changes.
and I'm definitely talking first half of Wrath. Where I lose my shit is when we get to LFG.
And Trial of the Crusader. Yeah.
Yep. Yeah, Trial of the Crusader was just boring. I didn't like heroic raids. Well, we could talk about that. So basically, heroic raids come in and Trial of the Crusader, which is the next raid. The third raid tier of the 4 raid tiers in Wrath, and it introduces heroic difficulty. Now, I don't hate heroic difficulty. I hate that heroic difficulty gave better gear. That's really all.
Yeah.
I would be fine with heroic if it gave mounts. Or
what if it gave one extra piece of the same quality gear?
I mean, I would actually be fine with that too.
Okay.
I just don't like the reason I ended up quitting is because I was just like, well, I'm not going to bang my head against this forever just to have the best stuff, and I'm not going to play the game if I don't have the best stuff. And so I would have much rathered it be like, arena at the end where you get a mount, like I wanted to give cosmetic things and titles rather than better gear. But an extra piece of gear, I could see how that would be
because I hate
fine.
cosmetics. That's the only reason why I asked that.
How hard were the heroics? I didn't really PvE.
Rogue Lich King was tough.
Yeah.
I didn't do it.
Dude, I didn't. Yeah, I didn't do.
Yeah.
I quit before Ice Crown came out, and then came back in Kata and did Ice Crown. But basically, I quit during Trial of the Crusader because it was so bad.
I quit for the same reason, but I did come back for ICC though.
Yeah, I came back like right before the end of Wrath, and then was excited about Kata, and I was really upset from looking for group and everything else, so I was just like, eh. But yeah, looking for groups coming also.
I play WoW way more than I did when I was younger. Like
True.
Yeah.
Like
well,
probably. Oh my god.
I guess I play it Well, I think I do play more now, but I was playing, like, to be in the top guilds, like, you're basically raiding 5 to 8 hours a night,
Yeah.
4 to 5 days a week, and that's what I
Yeah.
was doing. But it was a lot more chill. Now everything's like speed, 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 speed in Classic, which I was not ready
Yeah.
for. Like, when
Yeah, it
we
was
were
more hanging
doing
out back then, huh?
yeah, when we were
Yeah, it
doing
was.
progression rating, we were figuring stuff out. So it was a lot of talking. Like I was able to make dinner for Mel and I, like while we're talking out different stuff, and then you could turn off the burner and come back, do another attempt, and then you're gonna talk for another 15 minutes and figure stuff out. And so it was like it was definitely a different experience than now. We're like, go, 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 go! I just got res, go, 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 go! Like it's
Yeah,
so
you're
different.
absolutely right. I do play less, but I feel like I play more now. So I I never played an entire expansion until Classic came out. I literally never played from the start of expansion to the end of expansion ever in my whole WoW time playing until Classic came out, right? And I think it's because one, I really wanted Classic to come out, and two, I think it's actually because of what you said, Bob. Rating is not a week long affair anymore, and I think that allows me to play more.
Yep.
Yeah,
Like
I
if
feel
it
like
was
you're
a week
getting way
long
more in the
affair, like
beginning.
oh my
And
god, yeah,
it allows me to not get burnt out. That's
yeah,
that's why I say it all the time. I think raid logging is completely fine. If I couldn't
yeah,
raid log at times, then
yep,
I wouldn't play.
exactly, yep,
That's what I love that's what I love about it now, and I know it's not as challenging. Of course it's not. It's not like mythic raiding. Like
no, it's not. We
that's
don't,
like a
yeah,
full-time job, and I would enjoy other aspects of the game. I enjoyed, doing the hardcore challenge. I want to enjoy PvP. Like, it's
yeah,
I think the game's actually better now because of it. But yeah, okay, so Corny B in chat says L LFG should only be instituted on your account after you get level 80 on your first two. Now, something something to let you know. Um, Remember, this is when item score comes out too.
yeah,
So our gear score. So if you remember correctly, there was a gear score stipulation on if you could even join queue for
Yeah.
certain specs. So it would actually check your gear score before even letting you join heroic LFGs. I just don't like the fact that it sucks you into the dungeon. I really hate the fact that it's cross server. That's the part that
that's the
makes
big
me
part. That's the
disgusted.
big part. That's the
Yeah,
shitty part.
it's we.
Because yeah,
Okay, I
yeah,
think you're
go
gonna
ahead.
say the same thing as me, but me and every one of my other friends thought this was gonna be the change
Oh
that
yeah,
was better than sliced bread.
yep,
And
same thing.
then we realized, I think you talked about this on actually you and Def's podcast when you were still doing that, the Def Talk. You talked about how you just realized, oh, I can't recruit people from
Yep,
LFG anymore. Like now I'm getting
yep,
these people that don't care, that don't, and that's going to happen
Mhm.
again if we allow this to, like, if you want to
yeah.
make mega servers, fine, but just make LFG server only. I know it's going to
Exactly.
suck.
There's only 3 servers. Just make it within
Yeah,
the server,
it's gonna
right?
suck for the people. Like it would suck for us right now on white man. We have like 2,000, alliance, but the same
Yeah,
time, it would still be a way to like recruit, and yes, you would still get more groups because people are going to do that possibly a lot more than
yeah,
they're going to try and parse out LFG chat, or if they're smart, get LFG bulletin board. But like it's you're killing the whole social project by doing
yeah.
cross server.
I 100% agree with you, Bob. All LFG, all LFD, whatever you want to call it, would do if it was intra-server within the server. All it would do is kill the LFG bulletin add-on. That's all it would do. That's it. That's literally all it would do.
Yeah, I don't like the fact it
If you make
warps
it
you in there
cross-server,
either,
it
though.
does so much more shit, right?
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah, yeah. The
I
porting sucks, but like
the
we all
porting
fly
does
mounts, and
suck.
it's like
I mean,
it.
true, but it still takes me a good amount of time to get to each of our, you know,
Yeah,
each of
I
our
agree with you. All I'm
raids.
saying is it's not as big of an impact as if LFG was in Classic, right?
Not
If
yeah,
LFG
not
was
even
in Classic,
close.
Yeah,
that's like a
yeah, totally.
fucking game-breaking thing. But if it's in Wrath, where everyone has flying, everyone's gonna have 280 or 310, right? And it's like, I think the only thing that LFD would hurt would be add-on developers if it was inter-server. If it's inter-server, it hurts the whole game. I really think that's
I think it hurts
yeah,
the whole game on a big hole. Unless
yeah,
unless you're able to be in a guild with people not on your server, and then that's stupid too, because then you can't
yeah,
do the other stuff
Yeah, there's
around
no
the
point of
world.
having servers.
yeah,
Yeah.
I
So
mean, yeah, I feel like I wouldn't want that kind of tool for like the current servers out there right now with like all the mega servers and things like that. I think that
yeah,
would be like pretty disruptive because people actually paid for transfers to be on mega servers as well. A lot of people
yeah,
that transferred would probably end up like raising a big stink about it.
yeah,
But I think for like if you're like at a 3% population, it's really impossible to find it unless you transfer. It's like I would rather have the tool implemented in those like unique cases.
oh, you're
Um,
saying if you're at a server with a low, but see that still screws the people that are on the big. You're saying if you're on a server with a low enough pop, it lets you do that. But if it lets you do it with the big servers, then it still screws the
well,
people
it
on the big
wouldn't.
servers from
Yeah, but it would just
recruiting
be all
you
the
and
little
stuff.
servers with each other.
Oh, you're saying just have all the. So then at that point, why don't you just merge all the small servers? Because you don't want to piss off people
Because it
that
would
want to
only be
stay
one
on small
faction.
servers?
Yeah, like if people, like let's say someone's not looking to, they would rather quit the game than pay another 15 to transfer or whatever, right? Like maybe they're just not having that much fun and they might actually just end up quitting the game entirely, right? I'd rather have a tool available for them to actually like have a little more fun, but it's not a tool that everybody needs, right? It's just for like, it's a little bit of like social assistance for
yeah. So basically,
Oh,
you're
so you're
saying if the
saying
server
only.
population, yeah,
only, yeah.
Oh, okay.
I don't think that's
Yeah.
necessarily a bad thing because honestly, not a lot of people have the money to transfer servers. They don't want to, and they have friends. If
Yeah.
if the LFG system on that small server was cross realm, I think that's fine. But the thing is, like, there's no reason to have cross realm on Ferlina, on White Main,
Totally agree with that. Yeah.
and on Benediction. It just
Well,
doesn't
White
make any
Man,
fucking sense.
we still have Alliance. Like we just can't get any, like off groups going. Like you can get the
Even with the
heroic.
bulletin board add-on, like it just doesn't work. Help
Yeah,
doesn't
no,
work.
Well, I mean,
Yeah,
there's like
you can get your heroic daily probably in if you're on during
yeah,
prime
yeah,
time and stuff like that. But that's it. Like there's no low level dungeons going. Like Benediction, there's low level dungeons going
yeah.
constantly. Like
So for Alliance, what they could do is make LFT between you and Benediction, but that still hurts because it hurts you guys trying to recruit or meet new people. The whole thing, the whole reason Cross Realm blows is not because of guild health. It's because so guild health is the one that I was mad about when I talked about it the first time years ago. What it really comes down to is that you may have a really cool interaction with someone in a dungeon or a bad interaction, and you have no chance of ever seeing that person again, right?
yeah,
And that's the
Yep.
that's
part that
always
is yeah,
yeah. I have
that's the
yeah,
part
like
that sucks, and really,
yeah,
I think it was the beginning of the downfall of World of Warcraft as an MMO. I mean, it still had there's definitely things in retail that
yeah,
still were good, but it definitely
yeah.
like, you know, it definitely
So
like
yeah, yeah,
changed it from a social interaction, in my opinion.
yeah, exactly. Like there's so many different ways to manage guild health now. Like me doing it back then was antiquated. Me recruiting people from heroics, no one does that anymore, right? But we did back then. That's just a sign of the times. But it still has the effect today that you may have a good interaction with a player or a bad one, which is fine. They're either important. Both of them are important. That's what Kevin Jordan said. You know, player interaction, whether good or bad, is significant. It's a significant experience, right? And when you're limiting that, using a tool like that, you're put everyone on the same server. Might as well because there is no server, and we're getting there. So
Well, and
you know,
I was even guilty of like the really rude behavior. We would do LFG, uh, like looking for group finder with 3 people, right? And if we didn't like one of the 2 people that got in there, like and they were horrible, instead of like helping them, we would just all vote kick them, and then they would just be gone, and someone else would pop in, and like it was so toxic. It's just like like it changed it from like help. Like that's what I've loved about the hardcore challenge. Like you're helping someone, you're like, hey, well, have you thought about trying this? You know, it's an actual MMO. You know, so.
Right. It may suck in the moment when you have that bad person in your group, but then you go on Discord with your guildies and friends and say, "Man, I had this fucking guy in my group today. He was terrible," but and now you laugh about it. It's a story, right? Like that goes
It's actually
away
my
with
cousin.
LFD.
I invited him to the server, so
Yeah, that goes away with LFD in my opinion, right?
Yep.
So
yeah.
Well, but it's probably going to be in, so there'll be more to talk about later. But I've heard a lot of people really asking for the server only deal, and if they do server only, I think it's healthier for the game, and I think they just need to figure out what they're doing with the freaking server pops, and like that's really what it boils down to. So there's also some new BGs. There's the Strand of Ancients and the Isle of Conquest. So the Strands of Ancients. So there's a lot of it's a lot of vehicle combat in Wrath, right?
Yeah.
Strand of Ancients has like the siege weapons. Isle of Conquest, I don't remember. It was the 40 man. It was the one where you break into their. Like you're either on offense or defense.
Yeah, you get one of each. Yeah, it's basically like an AV, but it's turn based. You get one chance as defense, one chance as offense, right? And then the other one is I hate them both, but the other one I hate even more. It's the one with you get on like the Zeppelin and there's like it's in like Goblin area or whatever, right? Like oh my god, man,
Dude, I can't
say
I
either
can't
of these,
I can't remember that one. I remember the Isle of Conquest, but the Strand of Ancients.
But
well, okay, so
let's. The Ancients, you're on like a beach and you have to storm the castle, basically.
Wintergrasp.
Man, I barely remember that one.
Yeah, I don't remember that one at all, dude. Like maybe it's just because I didn't queue for it, and maybe it was taken out of the random queue later on. But okay, so we could talk about Wintergrasp. That's somewhere in the notes somewhere. I don't know if I have it right there. But Wintergrasp is an open world PvP BG, but it's in the open world. And this one's gonna be fucked. Like with the populations on servers, this one's going to be screwed.
It's literally not even gonna work. Unless they deputize people as the opposite faction or something.
Which they might do this time around, but what they did before was they instituted tenacity. And okay, so anybody that doesn't know what tenacity is, if a faction has way more people than you do, however many people that are on the other side get that power divvied up to them. So I was on the dominant faction as Horde during Wrath, and I just remember these warriors being Superman. I mean, literally like bosses. And if that comes in, I'm excited to do that this time around if I'm on the like low faction, but like it's not a good fix.
Can you imagine like on Fairlina, the fucking like 3 alliance that play at our server would literally be like, you know, Malagos and like the Lich King trying to kill it. It would be like,
dude, it's gonna be
so much power.
They'll just have one healer, a tank, and a DPS, and they'll just be like destroying people. And it's we're gonna have to see a lot more, but I don't even know if they'll institute it or there was a lot of changes to Wintergrasp like later on and stuff too. They have like there's a lot of stuff coming in that they have a lot to work through, but we'll see what they do. There's two new arenas. One of them's the Dalaran Sewers, which is still used to this day. It's a good one. But the other one is the what is it called?
The one in the orc fighting ring or whatever.
Yeah. What Ogamar Arena.
Yeah.
That one actually got removed from competitive play because it was so buggy and weird. It was the one with the fire comes up from the
Yeah.
ground, and then there's these different pillars that rise up and like go down. So sometimes you can have line of sight, and sometimes you could not. Like
Yep.
it was
Yep.
the
Yep.
weirdest thing ever. They removed it really quickly, so I think in our version it won't even be a competitive
It might
one.
not be. Yeah, it might not be. Um. Yeah, I'm just thinking about all that right now. Hmm.
Dude, it's so
God, there was something
much,
hit my tongue and I lost it. Damn it.
and like I don't even have all of the changes coming in. So, all right, well, there's two new arenas, so they
Yeah.
probably won't have the crazy one, but you'll probably be able to skirmish in it. You were always able to skirmish in it later, so it'll probably show up pre-patch, and you'll be able to. It'll be one of the ones you skirmish in, so you get to try it out. But you think the tornadoes are crazy? Wait till you play this arena.
Yeah.
All right, so
Yep.
I never played one, but you absolutely love the Death Knight. So tell people about the Death Knight.
I mained the Death Knight since Wrath came out, all the way until I stopped playing retail. To me, they are the absolute like embodiment of what I want in a class. The battle, if I had to pick an archetype from like fantasy that I would want to play, it'd be a battle mage, right? Someone who has heavy armor and has the ability to use magic. The Death Knight is that, right? So it's like it's you can think of it as an anti-paladin in a lot of ways, but they operate very different from paladins. They don't have any buffs really. They have passive buffs. They can buff themselves, but they don't have to worry about like being a buff battery or anything like that, right? Their AOE, their Death and Decay AOE is very similar to a Consecrate, right? But you can place it, which is really nice. Consecrate is at your feet. I think they may have changed that at some point. I don't know, but Death and Decay, you can place it anywhere you want. I'm hoping for the QQers out there that they bring Wrath in 3.3.5, because if they don't, everyone who's not a Death Knight's going to have a horrible time.
Oh yeah, it'll be stupid if
I
they don't.
remember
Like
They were
that's how it was
so
for a long
overpowered.
they were like I
Yeah.
remember being a rogue because we started out and we thought, this was actually a question in chat from Moobies, which is always the best name ever. Love my Moobies. So, he was talking, will there be 10-man only or 20 and 25-man only guilds, right? And when we
Potentially.
started Wrath, our plan was we had a group of friends of about 15. Our plan was to only do 10-man stuff, and we thought that would be awesome, right? And so
Yeah.
so we ended up really quickly, friends quit, and we were like, we don't want to do just 10-man. We want to do 25-man because we want to have the best gear. And like, so Mel and me and a few others moved over. But moral of that story is for the DK we had as DPS in our 10-man group could do on most fights in Nax, like double my damage.
Oh yeah.
And I was good. Like, but he could do double my damage because he just did so much. And then if I died, he'd just bring me back as a ghoul and I'd do even more damage, like.
Yep. Yeah. And the funny thing, when Wrath first came out, there was pretty much nobody in there was nobody in the Burning Crusade zones except Death Knights, because if you were starting another character, you were starting at level 1, right? So there was like no one to heal dungeons. But you know what? It didn't matter because we did every dungeon. Like you would just group up with 4 of the Death Knights, because there was all Death Knights in Outland, and you would just heal each other with like Death Coil or heal yourself with Death Strike, and you did not need a healer until like there were healers available when you got to. But even then, you really didn't need them. They were so powerful, dude. I could be in any spec. I could 1v1 any class. Like, and I was terrible, but terrible. I was a clicker. And it didn't matter.
Dude, you had a 100% slow. You had
yeah.
Death Grip to pull people back to you, which a lot of people
Dude, Death
really
Grip.
hated that
Oh, I
Yeah,
hated
yeah.
when
Death
it first
Grip.
came out.
I loved it.
Yoink!
yeah.
Oh, you just did the
Dude,
laugh.
I know. God, he's already turning into.
I can't wait, bro. I'm already like picking out new avatars for Discord. Like I'm already like it's happening, man. Like they are everything I've ever wanted in the class Death Knight is, basically. You're strong in PvP, strong in PvE, you have silences, slows, gap closers, you wear plate. It's I don't know, man. Like they're
Well,
broken.
and
Oh,
to let everybody know who might be, there are a lot of listeners who never played back in the day and have just started Classic, for the first time, didn't even play retail. Had a lot of those right in. And so, for you guys that don't know, DKs, as long as you had a level 70 character, you could start a DK 1 at level 55, and you had your own unique level 55
yeah.
starting
I think
area.
all you needed was a 55 to have a Death Knight, actually, Bob.
Maybe that was the case, or maybe just a
Yeah.
level 60 or something like that.
Yeah. I think as long as you had a 50 so same level as the Death Knight, you could do it. So
Like a boost.
Oh,
yeah, basically it's like a boost.
you've got some stuff in chat there. Got
Oh,
some
do I?
got some little bit of a betrayal of the shamans, Melderon.
Oh, well, so let me explain. So to me, the shaman is the closest thing to a battle mage before Death Knight comes out, especially elemental shaman, right? And enhancement is
No,
very much like a
Melderon,
battle
we have
mage.
talked about this. I had Agi swords in vanilla, and I was a battle mage.
Agi swords?
Yeah, Bob went
Do you
the
remember us talking
fundamentalist
about
approach.
this?
No.
I didn't understand the game, and so I wanted to have a sword, and
You were playing.
I
Oh,
was
you were
like, I'm
playing
a
a
battle
mage.
mage,
Yeah,
and it
yeah,
just didn't exist.
yeah. Like shamans to me are the closest thing to a battle mage before Death Knight comes out. That's why I play shaman. But then now this is the perfect class for me. Like this is. I don't know, man. The diseases, the fucking it's just I cannot wait to tank and have no one rip off me ever. It's gonna be
So
amazing.
Well, that's another
I've heard
change
this.
in Wrath, though. The tanks become actually there's no point that you're gonna have aggro issues.
Yeah.
If I had a tank that was under geared, then I just would use tricks of the trade on the tank instead of on another DPS. And then I would do tricks of the trade, uh, killing spree, and that tank's not losing any aggro for the entirety of the fight. So aggro changes quite a bit, but DK's definitely had it better. Warriors are still warriors get changes to where most of their abilities hit 3 targets, which is huge. But yeah, aggro changes quite a bit. But no, DKs are pretty cool. I thought about playing one again, but there's no way because everybody's gonna play one.
So here's the thing, Bob. This is how I'm gonna sell it to you. You like warlocks, you like warriors, right?
Yes.
What if you combine them?
It's unholy creation.
It's too good to be true.
Oh man.
Yeah, like unholy is unholy is like a hunter and a warlock and a warrior. Frost is like a warrior and a frost mage, and then blood's like I don't know a prot paladin mixed with a warrior. That's how I best explain it. Like so, it's like and that's not even accurate because even the other specs can AOE just as good as a prot paladin. So it's like yeah, like honestly, if you're torn between warlock and warrior, that's the class I would immediately like. You should
Oh
play
no,
Death Knight.
I'm
You know what I
going.
mean? Yeah.
I'm going back yellow.
Are you going rogue?
Yep, I'm
You're gonna
going
spam fan of knives the entire
going back to my roots. Combat rogue, and I will top the DPS charts, my friend.
You better get that fan of knives.
We'll see
Well,
about that, Bob.
on your,
I'll top it
Just, get
Oldawar
the
on. I'm not gonna top it in Nex combat. Like in Nex, daggers is probably better, but combat definitely. Once you get all the armor pen, combat is just absolutely out of this world, man.
Yeah.
remember
Um,
hearing this
yeah.
this theory from Yip a while back about boomkins originally being designed to be battle mages. Where he was like, man, they were planning something for them, but it never went through.
They
Like they
definitely
But you'd
were.
have to be a
armor and
chicken though.
Well, yeah,
yeah,
but they were like,
but their attack power goes up with those staves too, right?
yeah,
Yeah.
like
Kind
the,
it's kind of
like
nutty.
if they got melee hits, they would like gain buffs to the casting. Like they were definitely like kind of looking at that for a battle mage type of thing. But yeah, you have to
Mhm.
be a chicken. Like, I mean,
Yeah.
come on, dude. Like the boob kid
Sorry.
looks dorky. Like like the boob kid was the first panda in World of Warcraft. Like
Yeah,
it looks
I can't
dorky.
main
Come
a
on.
druid because I can't see my gear. That's like a literal problem with me.
Dude, Yip's been
Oh,
trying
battle
to
for you.
get over that, and he claims that he's over that, but I don't think he is. I mean,
Yeah.
this is the man that would have an actual piece of art made at the end of every tier
Yeah.
to show off his gear that he had gotten that tier. And you're telling me that this man's okay with not seeing his gear?
Exactly.
I,
Yeah.
I call some a little bit of copium here, right? I wish he was
Right.
here to defend himself, but I'm thinking it's
Just post
copium.
a bear for the next 4 years. It's like, nothing has changed.
Oh no, I don't think. I think Yip will probably be a pally in Wrath.
He's been talking about it. He's been talking about it.
Yeah, I think Bear is his means to an end and something he's doing for us and trying to make us feel better by saying it doesn't bother him not seeing his gear. But I think he's just doing that for us.
Hmm. Yeah, man. To say I'm excited to play DK would be an understatement. Honestly, like I can't wait, man. Yep, love the class since its inception. Been playing one since the day Wrath came out.
Kim,
So.
Kim, we've been talking about Wrath, but I forget what you have done in Wrath. Like, what's your background in Wrath?
I just did threes. That's it. No dungeons, no raids. Yeah, the
Yeah,
first time I'm
basically like me
yeah,
in
I remember like
TBC.
the first time I did any real level of PvE was when classics came out, right? Back then it was just doing threes and doing auction house. It seemed like a pretty good life. Still is. But
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm pretty interested. Like I just didn't have the time commitment back in the day. Because I was still in college and stuff like that. I couldn't commit that much time to raid to like actually make it worth it. So I ended up just doing games whenever, my friends were around. I was like, all right, that's good enough for me. But now I'm an adult and I don't have to, you know,
Yep.
Yep,
I don't have to study.
Kim was too busy at Berkeley creating hipsters
Yeah.
to do that.
Gotta have the PBR, man.
Okay, well, I was just curious. All right, so
Yeah.
next, so there's a new profession, glyphs or inscription, which creates glyphs and creates some different enchants, but glyphs are the big one, and glyphs, they're pretty important in Wrath. It's probably like Willie brought it up, I think when he guested on our show, that it's probably the reason they put dual spec in. I don't know if I
can
agree
see
with
that.
that, but like,
Yeah, because you can't.
yeah,
It would suck to reinscribe every time you. Yeah.
yeah, and
Yeah.
glyphs were
They basically
supposed,
take out respecking.
Mm-hmm.
yeah, glyphs were supposed to be like this cool thing to like make your class a little different, but it was figured out almost immediately which glyphs were the best for PvP
Oh, yeah.
and PvE.
Yeah.
I remember there
Yeah.
were minor ones and stuff like that that could change like your mind flay color.
Yeah,
I think,
three
right?
majors, three minors. Minors are usually
Yeah.
cosmetic. Majors are actually affect your abilities and stuff.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yep.
Yeah.
So there's
Yeah, that's pretty
6
sweet.
total, right?
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Yep. And
Three
so
majors, three minors. Yep.
so basically, I don't remember exactly what I used for minors. I don't even know if I messed with it a lot of the time, but yeah, they're just an extra thing, kind of like talents there's something you can buy from the auction house that inscribers make, and then you just attach it to it, and it's just like a gem. Like if you want to change it out, you have to copy over the one that's already in
Right.
there, and
Mhm.
so they're actually very powerful and change quite a bit of how you play, and we'll of course get into it more later on when we're closer to Wrath, but they're a big part of what changes, and it's going to be a really good way to make money, right?
Yeah.
Does Inscription, when it comes out, does it the vellums come out at the same time, or they can actually put it in the auction house, or is it like Enchanters where they actually have to be there? I forget.
Enchanters sell the
Because
vellums?
eventually,
Is that it?
Well, you pick it up from
No,
the
no.
enchanted vendor.
Inscribers make the vellums, because that's another thing.
I
Enchanting,
thought I thought you just buy them from a vendor.
you
Or is that
might,
later on?
maybe, yeah, maybe that's just like pots. You buy them from. You might be right, and
It's like
enchanters
vials,
can
basically. Yeah.
use them too, because enchanters no longer have to spam trade chat. They can make an
oh,
enchant.
so that was Wrath when they did that.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. Because
Okay,
I
okay,
made a bundle of, because I didn't ever do
yeah.
inscription, but I did enchanting, and
hmm
you no longer have to like enchant people right off the bat. You just put it on a scroll, and you just
Yeah.
put it on the auction house, and you could just in like people could just buy enchants off the auction house, which yeah did change some social stuff, but I thought this one was a good change because enchanting sucked because of that prior,
Well,
whereas other people could
it's
just
kind
make
of
a
fucked if
pot.
yeah, it's fucked if Inscription people can do it and you can't. You know what I mean? It's you know,
Yeah,
yeah.
it's just like it was like okay, well why do I have to like find the people or like watch chat constantly to do this? Like it always feels like enchanting should have always been where you enchant a scroll, and it's just like
hmm
a potion or a buff.
Yep.
And I
Oh,
mean,
and
even
I
like
don't know if you put this in the notes, but you know the professions give gathering professions give bonuses now, right?
that is the next
Oh
part.
yeah,
And
Oh,
it's
okay, okay.
the stats.
so yeah, so gathering professions give bonuses. Now I don't know what all the different ones do, but for instance, mining.
Hitting is agility, mining is stamina, herbalism is spirit.
Spirit sounds right, or intellect.
Yeah, one of the two. Can't remember them all.
Yeah, basically like so a full-blown miner's gonna have 60 more stamina just baseline because they have that.
Yeah.
But then not only that, armor proficiency comes in.
This is actually pretty big.
This is
It
huge.
it kills the classic era of warrior rogues, right?
Yeah,
It
yeah.
kills that. Yeah.
Okay, so
Yeah.
basically what it is you get buffs for using your armor type. So a
hmm
warrior, as long as he's in full plate, like it's got to be full plate too, not like you get a buff for each piece of plate you have.
Yeah.
If you're in full plate, you get a buff. So this stops warriors from taking rogues gear
Yeah.
and hunters gear, and this stops pallies from taking priest gear. Like this really actually changes the game because the buffs are significant. Like they're not like
Yeah. This is
small.
going to make loot list easier. This change
Oh
for
yeah,
sure.
true. I didn't even think
Yeah.
about that. See, I always did in Wrath. I was not DKP, but
The loot council.
no, it was DKP, but it was like um I forget the extra acronyms. It was where you do extra stuff, you could
Yeah.
earn
Yeah.
DKP. I forget
Yeah.
what it was
So a
called.
variant of DKP.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but it was still basically DKP. But yeah, that's a huge change. New items. You guys see anything in here? Looks like you want to talk about it.
Heirlooms are pretty important, I think.
Oh,
Um,
PvP
Heirlooms are
armor.
coming out?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Huh.
Oh yeah. Heirlooms are coming out for
but they're
sure.
not like account shared like they are in retail.
Nope. They
Like
are.
you have to buy a piece, right, for each person.
No.
Mm.
You can send it to a next alt,
Yeah,
but
but they're not
there's
But
only
just
all
crafted
your
out of
alts get
nowhere.
it, is what I mean, right?
You only have one piece per account.
yeah, you would have to
That's what I mean.
you would
Yeah.
have to like mail it to the other person, but it's only
Yeah.
weapons, shoulders, chest.
Yeah, there's a lot less of them for sure.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
I guess now in retail, like you could have a full heirloom set and just not have to get gear at all while working up.
Yeah, and also you only have to buy them one time for all of your alts.
Yeah. And
In
it,
Wrath, you buy like a sword. You can only give it to that sword to one person, right? You can't give it to
I
somebody else. Or you can mail it to someone else, right?
well, you might be right about that. I'm not sure. I never gave an heirloom to any other characters, so I don't remember.
Yeah.
it'll be
Pretty sure
interesting to see like Ellie Shammy's running around with cloth that used to be on their mage, you know?
Yeah.
Dude,
Yeah.
That'll be fun.
what I used heirlooms for was my level 29 Twink Pally. Like
Mm.
I got
The heirlooms were pretty damn powerful.
dude for
Yeah.
Twinks it was
Yeah.
like it was so much fun. But those are coming in. I forget what currency you use to buy them because there's a lot of different
It's like
currencies in
it's like a
Wrath.
badge, no?
There's a few different currencies in Wrath that like I
Yeah, they
forget
come out with
about.
a lot.
So PvP and PvE gear is now completely different.
Yep, that's important.
There's not just a like right now in TBC it's
reskin.
just a color difference basically. Now they're actually different pieces of armor. This is when they still cared about armor.
Yep.
What else?
25 man raise obviously drop more than 10 man. And it's a half a tier higher. So like 10 man max is 7, 25 man max is 7.5.
Yeah, there was something else that you just reminded me of that we were talking about. Oh man, what was it? There was something else that we were talking about heirlooms.
I just said the PvP armor is no longer a reskin of PvE armor.
Yeah, I don't know what it was. All right, well, if I think of it, I'll say it. But oh, there's just so much that changes. What about the mounts? Like, do you guys remember that? Well, so first off, they bring out the chopper,
Mount
which
Oh yeah.
was
Is
really
that the
cool,
friend
right?
chopper? The friend
Yeah,
chopper?
that's the one where
Nice.
you could
That was
ride the
fun.
motorcycle, but if your friend jumps in, it puts the sidecar there.
Yep.
It's a huge gold sink of 25K. And
Ooh.
my friend got one, and then he quit because it burnt him out, just farming it. But yeah, it's pretty cool. There's the ice mammoth. There isn't there one that like has a bank on it now too.
It has 2 seats. Nowadays, there's one that has those like vendors on it, but I'm pretty sure the one in Wrath just has 2 empty seats.
No, there's definitely one that you can repair from. Oh yeah.
The
The
transport one, right?
no,
Is it the retail?
the Reigns of the Traveler's Tundra Mammoth is 20K gold.
Yeah.
Prices reduced with reputation and fast. It's a 3-person mount and carries vendors.
You know what I'm thinking of?
You're thinking of the bank.
I'm thinking of the mount that drops in Winter Grasp off one of the bosses that is also a 3-person mount, but it doesn't have vendors.
Yeah.
Because Def Camp had that mount. He actually won it. And it's free. And it's a 3-person mount.
Damn. And then there's also
Yeah.
the flying carpet, which is
Yeah, I remember my mage had that.
actually pretty cool.
We're gonna funnel some gold to the Carpatron to get that.
The Carpatron. The Carpatron Duke Marriott.
Yep. That's exactly it.
Wait. Why'd you
Kingleberry
just say that?
McCringleberry?
The Carpatron Duke Marriott. He said he has to funnel money to the Carpatron, and I said the Carpatron Duke Marriott.
Wait, why'd you say
It's from a
Duke
Key and Peele
Marriott?
sketch.
He's never seen the sketch.
Oh,
Yeah.
dude. Well,
you're
that's his two characters. Like
yeah,
he.
that's where
really?
that's where I
Oh,
got it from.
he was talking about a guildie we have. Le Carpatron is a druid maid in our guild, and his alt is a warlock named Duke Marriott.
Here, I
Yeah,
will send
that's where
you
the name
this
comes
skit.
from, man.
Oh, I didn't even know.
You have to watch this skit. when you get
It's a
chance.
great sketch.
Yeah,
Okay, well, I'll have to watch it after the show. But
yeah.
damn, I didn't even realize. All right,
Fair.
so there's a ton of changes that we didn't even hit on too. But this was just like a fun, like, hey, what all changes, and we're not gonna get into all of it. But oh, Le Carpatron's in chat and says thanks for educating Bob. Oh man, yeah. So yeah,
You gotta learn the lore, man.
this was a lot of stuff here, and I'm sure we missed a bunch, guys.
There's a lot of shit, man. It's like so like people shit on Wrath all the time. Like I think people are gonna have so much fun in this expansion. There's so much shit to do,
Yeah.
and it's just it's.
I feel like they really lived up to the word expansion. They like totally
Mhm.
expanded.
Well, and like
Yeah.
just looking at how the zones look, they feel
Oh my
so much
God.
more World of Warcraft than TBC ever did.
Yep, the music. Oh, Grizzly
The
Hills,
music,
bro.
dude, we didn't even talk
my
about that.
God.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like they went above and beyond with I can't wait for Josh Corbett's inevitable Music of Wrath episode, and that one's gonna be a banger, dude.
Yeah, it is. Wrath is so good, man. And there are downsides like LFD, and this is the beginning of the end for WoW, in my opinion. But this is also finished with such a strong, ICC is an amazing raid. It finished with the best story arc ever created in Warcraft.
Definitely.
So it all goes downhill from here, everyone. This is the pinnacle. I think it's not my personal pinnacle, but I think for many people it is. And I think this is it's just a great expansion.
Yeah, and I mean
yeah.
the Lich King, like this villain, they tried to get him back throughout the entirety of retail, and it turned into some big old dude driving a big old sword through the planet. And I'm just like, what are you doing? And now that big old sword through the planet is a meme everywhere. Lost Ark literally has like a quest that just memes on it, being like, "Oh wait, is that the planet with the big sword in it?"
Yeah, it's like silly, It's like I don't know. But,
yeah,
man,
Wrath was amazing.
For the first moment you come across that, either you're taking the Zeppelin or the boat, and you just see like the zone and the music hits, and you're just there, and you're just like it's cozy, it's warm. The mobs look different. I don't know, man. I can't praise it enough. Like there are shortcomings, and it's not my absolute favorite experience. But again, I haven't played it in so long that maybe it will become my favorite again. I don't know. Like
I really
Classic was so good.
I really
And
truly
TBC,
think
in my opinion, is really good too. Good. I'm sorry. Yep.
Oh no, you're fine. I really think it's my favorite. Like,
Mhm.
and that's another thing we
Oh,
didn't
me
even
too.
hit on. All the quests. There's so many quest lines
So many quests.
that have actual in-game.
Yeah.
It's an in-game cinematic where you're moving around. They basically instance you for a short minute while you interact with the Lich King or someone in a certain zone. It's really cool the way they do it.
Forgot all about those. Plus the quests that are like from lore points in Warcraft 2s and 3 and like Warcraft 3, right? So basically like where Arthas went to Northrend and scuttled the ships and everyone died, you fight the ghosts of those guys in Dragonblight. It's just like all these super cool lore. Oh man, it's so good.
The culling of Strathholm, 5-man
one of the best dungeons ever made.
Everybody who hates on Caverns of Time right now in TBC, I get you. But just wait. The culling of Strathholm is coming, and you get to relive Arthas.
Yeah.
Oh, it's
Dude, that dungeon's so good. My
so
God.
good.
And they redid the voice acting for Wrath, and it's so much better than the original, in my opinion. Like, and then if you do the dungeon fast enough, you get a mount. It's just, I don't know. It's just such cool stuff, man. Like,
Oh, that's that
yeah,
one.
yeah, you get the yellow bronze Drake for doing that.
Yeah, that's the Bronze
I think
Drake
that's one of the
is
few ones that I actually had.
yeah, the
Mhm.
Bronze Drake is what I
That was
rocked
cool.
all through Wrath because I never got the Time Lost Drake. So another thing we
Yeah.
didn't mention. The hardest mount ever to get in World of Warcraft up to that point.
Oh, right. What was that locked
The
behind?
the Time Lost Drake was a mount that would spawn anytime within a like 48-hour period or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
And it spawned random locations in the final zone that you only could move around in if you had a flying mount.
Ice Crown?
Yeah, I think so, yes.
Yeah.
And then it would just basically be like to try and get it was a bitch too because everybody was trying to camp and looking for it. Like
Yeah.
it'll be interesting to see with layering and stuff if there's like multiple ones on multiple layers.
Yeah. Yeah.
But if they're not, it's even going to be harder to get on these mega servers because you're not going to be on the right layer to get it.
Yeah. Invincible.
Oh, Invincible, yeah.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, I remember.
We didn't even talk about achievements.
Layers are
They
crazy.
added achievements, guys.
Oh, fucking achievements, man.
Everyone who's OCD like me and gets exalted with every rep before achievements come out, rip your life because you're going to be doing the same thing with achievements because they give you that little bit of dopamine hit. And you're going to try to get every friggin' achievement in the game. So good luck with that.
Yep. And then you get different mount rewards for mount achievements and stuff. Like it's
Yeah, the feeling is like you're already max level, but it feels like you're dinging, right?
Yeah,
When you
yeah.
see that,
Yep,
yeah.
you're absolutely right. It is like it's like Paragon levels in Diablo or something. Yeah, it's
oh, what is the oh yeah. Movies in chat says his guildie's been stockpiling limbs of rapidity for the insane title. I forget what the insane title was.
Oh, I forget that one too. What the hell's that one? Let me see.
Insane title. Huh. I do remember, and there's so many titles that come with the achievements. And achievements are going to be nuts for a lot of the OCD people. It's going to be.
Apparently, it was
Yeah.
changed in Kata. Shit.
Oh,
don't
movies
know.
just linked it.
Oh, good. This is from like a Wrath. Okay. Oh, you have to get rep with all those Steam Weedle, Bloodsail Buccaneer, Chandra, all the really hard factions.
Oh.
Ravenhold. Oh my god.
That deserves
dude.
a title. Insane.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh man, the Darkmoon Fair. Oh, yep. I definitely never got this. I think I started it and got honored with the Bloodsail Buccaneers, and then was like, nope, I'm done.
Yep.
That sounds painful.
Because like you're like after doing like if you worked up in vanilla, you are hated. But now with the boost, maybe it might be an easier thing to get.
Yeah.
Because you didn't do any of those quests.
Maybe. Yeah, I never even. I would. That's one achievement I will not be attempting.
Nope.
Definitely not.
Yeah.
Then there's the
I'm
one
okay
with
being regular sane.
there's all the chickens and stuff, and then like you talked about Moonkins. We didn't even talk about how Moonkins, Feral, Rhett are gonna pump in
there's
this
gonna be huge
expansion.
class changes.
Yeah, there's a lot to come. We're not gonna be able to cover it tonight. We're gonna have to end it, but yeah, there's a lot to come. This was actually a fun episode that
Yeah, man.
got me thinking about a lot of stuff I haven't, and now kind of thinking about how I need to prepare a little bit better. So much to do.
Yeah, I'm gonna do jewel crafting and blacksmithing on my death night, so I have to get a lot of frigging ore stockpiled.
Yeah, that's
which
always a move to do, especially if you can do that
now,
regularly. Maybe,
Yeah.
like
yeah.
now, like you can get
Before
copper.
the announcement
Mm-hmm.
of like it dropping is gonna
That's
come out,
always the
right?
big
Mhm.
thing. Yep.
Yeah, that's always a catalyst that'll drive it
Yeah.
up.
Because the jewel crafting, you get like new gems come out that are jewel crafting only. And if you're blacksmithing, you could socket 2 additional sockets on your like chest
Oh,
piece.
yeah.
It's
Don't they
great. And
also
then
have belt buckles?
yeah, that everyone can use though.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah. But there's a specific to blacksmiths. You can like chisel out like 2 more sockets. So if you combine that with jewel crafting, like
Damn,
you can have insane,
that's pretty
amounts.
sick.
Yeah.
And then spell pen and armor pen are like easy to get. Like gearing is a lot easier coming in Wrath.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
But we could go on forever, and we have gone on for a while. So it's gonna be time to end out the week's episode, guys.
Yeah.
All right, don't
Cool.
forget to follow us on Twitter at WC Reloaded. You could also follow the Mash Those Buttons Network at the Mash Network. If you want to send us something a little bit longer, an email or something, do so by sending it to wcrpodcast@gmail.com. If you'd like to join the MASH Discord and interact with any of the hosts on any show, it's mash.gg/discord. All right, guys, how can you up the show? The way you've been doing it, tell your friends, your guild about it. Spam it in BGs that you win. I used to do that. I'm not proud of it, but I did it. I didn't spam
remember.
it. I just would say it once. If you're ever bored,
Oh, the macro's coming.
never did it when we lost, but would do it when we win. But yeah, just tell people about the pod. If you want to go above and beyond, leave us a review on iTunes or Apple Podcasts. Leave us a star rating on Spotify, or leave a review at warcraftradio.com/directory. All right, Kim,
Mhm.
where can people find you if they want to, or you don't want them to, or
Nowhere. It's just Kimjongoom on Whitemane. Although if I have someone create a character here and message me, I'll be like, "Oh my god, I'm bigger than Bob. I'm a star."
you were a star in my eyes. So,
Man, more like a
Melderon,
brand star.
where can we
Yes.
find you?
Very hard. You can find me on Def Camp streams sometimes as like a background voice or as a co-person or co-contributor. I used to make content, Def Camp Melderon TV. It's getting kind of antiquated now, but classic and TBC stuff. Yeah, that's about. And you can find me here once a month. That's about it.
All right, cool. And your Twitter is
At Def_Mel TV. I don't use it, so yeah.
All right,
If you want
well,
to follow me, that's great. But
so
yeah.
it's what, twitch.tv/defcamp?
Def Camp is my brother's stream. Yeah, he streams. Please support him. That's his full-time job. Yeah, that'd be great. If you want to support me, that's how you support me.
Awesome. All right, and you can find me on Twitter at Blazzin_Bob. That's BLAZZIN_BOB. You can also find me on Twitch now. I actually do stream almost every day, and I stream all of our raids Tuesdays and Thursdays, and that's at twitch.tv/Blazzinbob. No underscore in that one. But
You can come and hear me make really inappropriate or corny jokes.
yeah, it's everybody in raid has been pretty cool. So we have the chat in raid, so you guys can hear the calls, what the raid leader's doing. As long as everybody stays behaved, we'll keep doing that. But yeah, come in, hear our awesome guild leader Harskar, hear Yip tell Kim and Casimo to be quiet, and occasionally me too.
Let's not. Come on.
Hey, you check the VODs, man. I have been good for a long time.
You have. I long for the days of
Of my
spontaneous karaoke.
classic, yeah, the classic. I just start singing "I Can Show You the World" while we're killing a boss in Molten Core. But it was boring at that point. Come on, we were in AQ. We're going to do it Molten
True.
Core. All right, guys, we're out. Thank you so much. We will see you next week.
Bye.
All right. See you guys.
All right, you can stop your local recordings. And is there anybody doing anything? It's Raid Jamin. Tell Jamin good luck on Noob Core. He was on the show last week.
Oh, nice. Javin's a great guy.
Oh yeah, it was awesome. His voice. Oh my god.
Can
Hey, Bob.
you relink the drive?
Yeah,
share?
yeah. I'll do it right after I send this raid off.
Cool.
Tell Jamin we can't talk. Tell him we said hi.
Which one is this? 84.